Mm.
But other than that, they're kind of like they're just like June bugs, like dumb
Yeah.
June bugs just keep hitting the wall. They're super annoying and they scare people sometimes, but they
Mm.
actually don't really serve much of a purpose. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
uh,
And
no,
a dumb one because why are they protesting exactly? Antifa. So what's their meaning?
They don't have
well,
one for this one. I
yeah, I
think they're
mean,
just trying to agitate and cause problem. That's it.
yeah, and I think that, these people have acquired a degree of infamy and a degree of fame among leftists for
Yeah.
piggybacking off either the Freedom Convoy or, freedom events ever since then. And so they pull out their TikToks and they live stream and they call us names. I'm infamously loser ex-nurse.
No,
Oh,
cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
right.
okay.
So that's my famous name. Um,
I would
but
prefer to be treated with you avec toi que les infirmières. Là. Non, non, non.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I choose you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And in our I mean, if we look at what's going on in Quebec, like our healthcare is falling apart. And we were saying the transgender agenda is coming in hot. And they are going to attempt to bring
They are
these
trying
people.
it hard right now. There are already some rules. Il y a déjà des petites règles undercover. It's not officially public from the big government, but there is some drugstore who are trying to apply mandatory testing. There are some cities, some big ones in Quebec province, that if you got some cold, some whatever, so you're sneezing a little bit, please get tested, and if positive, please get isolated for 10 days. So they're trying to the mask also in some places a little bit, just like they tried to did in United States. And Ottawa Hospital aujourd'hui, Ottawa Hospital today, they mandate mask, I think.
Wow. Okay, so we're starting. We're seeing the trickle. And any rumor
Yeah.
about an actual lockdown?
Not now, but like I said, maybe, or like Betan said also, maybe they can try to do it, but
Mm.
it won't be very popular, and we're already waiting for them. Try it.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that Quebec is going to not comply. What's the French version of do not
Oh,
comply?
n'écoutez pas les ordres, n'obéissez pas. Donc, les ordres sanitaires, ne les écoutez pas.
Ne
So,
les
Right.
remember, we
Ne
were
lisez pas?
the first place. Yeah, go.
Non, c'est beau,
Yeah.
là, ne les écoutez pas. Don't listen to them is what that says. Do not comply.
Yeah.
But Danielle and I were talking about this, and I was at a freedom party this weekend in Cobourg, Ontario. Shout out to Jody Ledgerwood. And all the freedomers were kind of talking about what the strategy is. And I think that it's to come out really hard and really firm right away with this is not getting off the ground. We are not going to do this. We are not complying. In 2020, they took us by surprise. And I think even, myself, I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? But in 2023, it's like, haha, not a chance, not a chance. So I get this sense that there's 30% of the population that ain't moving. Like this
Hmm.
is something. So when they try and bring it back in drugstores or in grocery stores, we just
Mhm.
have to be a hard dissenting no friggin' way. And
Yeah, one of my friend did that in a drugstore. He just said he wanted some a drug. Normally, it's in free sale, but now this time suddenly it was behind derrière le
Oh, wow.
comptoir. Yeah, and for the allergies, the seasonal allergies, just like that. And the pharmacien asked him to be tested, and he said no. He just said no, and you're not messing with the good guy here. So you have the wrong guy to try
the
that. So
wrong guy. Yeah.
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 So It was a no. Say no, and even in the groceries, if they're trying to, we have some planning about it. We won't be alone. That's important.
No, that's good.
Don't
That's
be
good.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get the message out so we're all doing it.
Yeah, and I do think that kind of like Bud Light or Target, there'll be an organization that will put their neck out there and they say, we're bringing back mandates and mandatory testing, and that's who we're going for. So, we're just
Mm,
waiting to see who's going to do it first. And then that's, the plan of attack.
mm,
But yeah, like
mm.
hardcore not complying. There's no way.
Don't wait. Don't wait. Non, n'attendrons pas. We won't let it escalate it. And
Yeah,
the media, we don't care anyway. And
yeah.
Quebec province is still struggling about the tickets.
Hmm.
Yeah, we lose, people lost all their cases in Quebec province. Most of them now, for now, but we'll see in the future. And there's beginning of cracks also with some little victories, but it's a beginning. It's not like the rest of the Canada, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've had some victories around Canada, but you're saying in Quebec the people are actually losing the fights on the ticket?
Yeah,
Okay.
often, yeah.
Okay. Often.
For many reasons, and they're trying to, prolonger, elongate it, the cases. It costs more money, of course.
Hmm.
So this is their plan. They don't want people to talk about it, to win, and to make a big announce in the media.
Okay. And any talk about anything to do with schools or any parents talking about taking their kids out or anything like that?
Yes, there will be a protest also with the Million March in Montreal, the 20th.
Is that
There's a movement.
translated? Million? Is that translated to French?
Not let,
Maybe
not
they won't
yet.
be allowed to march if it's not French.
Yeah, oh yes, we will do it. No problem. No problem. On va l'avoir et on va avoir la traduction.
Right.
I don't worry about it. But the transgender issue in the school is a
Hmm.
big issue. Although there is many parents who acknowledge it. It's nice to have drag queens reading stories in front of children. So there are some people again, like in the narrative. It's strangely you can recognize them easily. So they will
Wow.
comply. They will comply to the mandates too. These parents.
And then how about you, but then you're hearing from parents as well, both for the indoctrination, the transgender, and even the lockdown or mandates possibly? Are they all fight back on that?
Well, I mean, the kids have sent me some pictures from around school, and they're freshly decorated with. I should have sent that to you. With posters of rainbows and like this is a safe space, as though it was unsafe before. Um,
Yeah.
I do feel that the pendulum is swinging back hard on this one,
Hmm.
especially with the transgender issue. It
Mm.
again, it is one thing to believe that you are another gender or trapped inside another body. It's a whole other thing to let children
Ouais.
remove body parts.
Hmm.
And these surgeries, I'm flabbergasted. It's $10,000 for a boob job. Okay, so that's $15,000. So to have them removed is somewhere in that ballpark. So you're knowing that there are these plastic surgeons who specialize in this transgender breast removal that are making 10 grand a pop, right? And I hope they are banking it, because they are going to be sued into the dark ages in the
Yeah.
next 5 to 10 years, when that 12-year-old 15-year-old is 25 and 27 and realizing what she has done. Eh la la la.
It's a butchery en français, c'est boucherie. How do you say that in
Yeah,
English?
butchering. Yeah,
Butchery.
butchering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Butchering, yeah.
Yeah. Let's call it what it is. A butchery.
yeah,
It's madness against children.
yeah.
It's incredible, and the adults doing that will be sued. Like
All
it
of them.
began in United States a little bit, but
Yeah,
it began. And
yeah.
the statistics for people who doesn't know it, statistiques pour les gens qui ne savent pas, chez les jeunes filles qui transitionnent vers les hommes, 40% de suicides avant l'âge de 30 ans.
So wow, for
Yeah.
young girls who transition. C'est quoi l'âge encore?
Jusqu'à 30 ans à peu près.
So but there's like a 40% suicide rate, but before
Yeah.
they
Wow.
were 30 years old.
So
Because
So
they
after
don't solve their
transition,
problem. Yeah,
yeah, it's not solving the
the
problem.
so-called transition won't solve any problem. La
Right.
transition ne réglera aucun problème psychologique. Non,
Yeah.
it's a lie. C'est un
Yeah.
mensonge.
Yeah. And I think that the school counselors, it's going to be the principals, secretaries, like all the way all up the top to the school board. It's the Nilly Kaplan Mirth, the school board trustees.
wow.
And it's going to go up to, members of the NDP, Liberal Party. So anyone, and then there's going to be the physicians and then the College of Physicians of Surgeons that have let this happen. So they need to know that they're being put on warning right now. Like they should put the scalpels down, because
Yeah.
once these children like it's 3, 5, 7, 10 years, like comprehend the magnitude of what adults encouraged, let happen before their brains were fully developed, they're going to be sued into the dark ages. And
Yeah.
so I hope they're banking that money that they're making on these $10,000 surgeries, because they'll be sued into the millions and millions, as
Even
individuals.
even Canada, even Canadian citizens could
Yeah.
be sued by the government because Trudeau acknowledged it, and the opposition and all of them voted for example C4 and other laws about it
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
permit to give the permission to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, but if
I-
there's a lawsuit, the citizen could pay for it.
right.
Yeah, it will
Right.
come from taxpayers. The doctors may get hit a little bit, but most of it will come from taxpayers because most of the damage will be caused that the doctors can't even afford. 10,000 a pop it sounds like great money, but if you have 10 million recovery for the rest of your life on one person, that
Mhm.
10,000 doesn't last long. Yeah, so it's going to end up with taxpayers for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're just going to resist it all. And, as far as we can only actively work in the small groups that we work in. So talking to our kids and talking to our kids' friends, and just creating a bit of a dissenting culture amongst our own children
Mhm.
is important. And they have to be careful in these spaces, right? It's not safe for them to articulate conservative views, but kids have a tendency to be rebellious, and so they like to be like dissident too. So
Mhm.
I think that new poll that just came out, they're saying 40% of millennials are going to vote conservative. So there
Hmm.
is this trend that conservative is the new punk. And like I have no problems with kids rebelling. I remember, you remember, like in the 80s, people were punk and they shaved their heads and they put pins in their lips and got minor infections, but there was nothing permanent in the damage that
Yeah.
we let them. So this is going to be a completely different fallout. So I'm going to be back in court tomorrow, Jason. I'll let you know how
Great.
Chris and Tamara's trial goes. And yeah, like you think that it was like a terrorism trial the way things are going, but it's like, really, we're there for mischief charges. This is like for parking tickets, and we're treating it like treason.
Mhm.
It's a
Okay,
bit of
so you'll be there. You'll be
joke.
there tomorrow, which is good. Tom Rouse is going to come on Friday morning to give us an update. Can you come on tomorrow morning, or is that just a little too early for you?
Like tomorrow, well, like the case won't really have even started by the time your show's
Mm.
going, because like court doesn't start till 10.
Right. Okay.
So, but like I can shoot you texts, and I
Okay.
see
Please do that.
Primo. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
Primo's coming up. Yep.
What up, Primo?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. And then Danielle, do you want to wrap up for Quebec? Is there anything
Yes.
else going on with the language laws? It's one of the things we heard a few weeks ago.
The language laws, in fact, it won't move. There are no laws that will be moved about the language. But I saw something in English Canada. Also, more Canadians are talking about having an official policy in English because, like in Toronto, some people begin to think that, the English should be more promoted in some area. So you don't have an official language policy. We don't, in fact, we have a kind of, in the Constitution, two official language in Canada, français and English, two official languages. If you don't like that, change the Constitution. Eh, but anyway, this is the Canada we built. Sorry, but that's the reality. Long story short, but yeah, we have to come. We have to do with that. And for your information, Benjamin Franklin, when there was
Mhm.
the independence of the United States, came
Oui.
to the New France to offer the Nouvelle France the chance to participate to the United States, and he told that if you're coming with us in the new United States, si vous venez avec nous autres aux États-Unis, le français va être la langue officielle. French will be the official language, because at this time it was mostly talk. And in the world, the French is going well. In Montreal, there is some, some clashes between the English communities and the French. We must not separate the communities. Language is a thing, communities are another. And the English part is very important to Quebec too. Very,
Mhm.
very
That's very
important.
good.
It's historical, and we have the same fight against communist socialism.
Yeah.
Like we're fighting against the climate scam. And en français, this weekend, only in French, there will be a debate, the first one about the climate, the climate, excuse me, à propos du climat, with experts from France, in French only. So I think people should learn how to communicate more each other and to learn each other. And that's what we learned with the Freedom Convoy, avec le Convoi de la Liberté. Nous avons appris à être unis. We learn how to be united. We must not lose that.
Oh, that sounds great. The United sounds good. We definitely need that. And I had a great conversation with someone from Manitoba and Alberta just the other day that we need to team up with Quebec. We need to find a way to work with Quebec. I think Quebec,
Absolutely.
Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, we can actually change this entire country. So you
Oh, yeah.
you start knocking on your neighbors there, Danielle. I'll knock at my neighbors, and maybe we'll meet next week, and we'll
Yes.
revolutionize this entire country.
We'll all meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
Au
you.
revoir, Quebec. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so
Bonne
much.
soirée.
Donald.
Bonsoir.
Bye,
Bonsoir.
Bruno. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hello, Ontario. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm
How's it
doing
going there?
great.
Going really good here in Alberta. It's going good across the country so far. We opened up with some Lindsay Butler. We're all in a great mood today. It's wonderful. Enjoy this week. Hey, Rob. Thanks for coming back, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. So I seen the, one thing that was encouraging to see, I'm sure some of you have seen by now, was that Tamara Litch exiting the courtroom and seeing a bunch of people in Ontario there clapping, showing her respect and, being excited that she's there and she's in front of the judge and she's having her time. And, I think as the next couple of weeks go on, we're just going to see that support and that presence continue to happen. And I think and hope that more people are going to continue to show up and, encourage her.
So we're scheduled for 16 days for this trial right now.
Yeah, that's I see Donald shaking his head there. Donald, I'm assuming that's the longest mischief trial you've ever heard of in your life before.
Most likely.
Yes, it is. And I'm also involved in the longest Police Services Act trial that I've ever been in. Like, mischief. What's that? Breaking a window? I'm serious. It's what it is. Okay, fine. These good people who were fighting for all of us, and they really were, had the full weight of the state against them. They seized their bank accounts. They fired their families. I'm not speaking specifically now, but I mean, there's an attack on families. We wiretapped them all. We wiretapped their families because they were Canadians who pushed back, who dared to push back on the tyranny, on the destruction of homes, businesses, jobs, families, health. And they dared to push back. Well, but you know what? I'm coming in here really optimistic. I just finished an interview, an hour and a half with Police on Guard, and it'll be on next week sometime.
That's wonderful.
Wendy and everything. Oh, you know, I came away from that. Now, don't get me wrong. We went through all the crap of the Groose trial and the Coots 4 and some other issues and everything. But, you know, we all came away with the idea that we just might win some of this. Our pushback is effective because we have the truth. And what do they got? Lies. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm very optimistic.
Well,
I'm
your
kind of
optimism
feeling-
is great. Go ahead, Rob.
Go ahead, Jason. Sorry, I was just going to mention.
No, I was just going to give a
feeling-
bit of a notice that Rumble seems to be under attack, so it's going up and down. Nothing we can do about it. So if you're on Rumble, move to Facebook or just stick around. It's going up and down. Okay, go ahead, Rob.
I was just, going to mention the same thing Donald did. I'm feeling really optimistic and positive right now. It seems like there's so much going on in so many different places. And, everyone's not distracted at this time. Everyone's paying attention. Everyone's watching what's going on. Everyone's sharing the news. Everyone's doing their part. They've held on to this for so long. And, before you know it, all these people are going to go back into Parliament, and they're just going to get bamboozled with questions at the same time. And I just can't wait to watch this all happen. It's been a long time coming.
Do you know when Parliament starts again?
I don't have the exact date, actually. No, I could check right now, though.
I think sometime in September. And what else is going on there, Don, in Ontario? You guys lost your Minister of Natural Resources or something, or Housing, because there was a kerfuffle with the Greenbelt.
Kerfuffle.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on there? Out here, it sounds like a kerfuffle.
It's corruption. Here's what it is,
right.
okay? Here's what it is. We have a green belt around the Greater Toronto area, and that was supposed to be to protect the little weasels, birds, and mice and stuff like that, and just prevent urban sprawl. And when that was imposed, a lot of people suffered. Farmers suffered because their land was now not available for housing. And I don't know if you know, the poor farmers. I mean, some years are good, some years are bad. Sometimes there's not a lot of money in being a farmer, and you put the next years on hold and on finance, and you put that transmission repair to the tractor aside, and all of that. Okay. And then when the land permissions change from agriculture only, because it's a green belt, to housing allowed now, there's hundreds of millions of dollars at stake, instant profits. That land that was only worth X is now worth 1,000X per acre. So did the Ontario government give that permission to the farmers who held the land? Did they? Huh? No. A friend of the government, a friend of a friend who was at the wedding. Now, hang on. I've got to be careful. Someone check this out for me. At the Premier's daughter's wedding or something like that. Okay. I wasn't invited. Hey, Bob, were you invited? Rob, were you invited? How about you, Jason? Were you invited?
No.
Neither was I. Okay. So then before everything changes, as I understand it, and look, I'd like to be corrected on this. I'd like to think that our government had integrity. So if I'm wrong, somebody come out and tell me. But it looks to me like when you get invited to the Premier's daughter's or relative's wedding, and then you go out and you borrow $100 million or whatever it is to buy land, to buy green belt land that's kind of worthless because you don't do anything else on it but farm or something. And then lo and behold, permissions are given to build on the land. And you sell like a quarter of it for 5 times what you bought the original or something like that. I'm mixing up all the numbers, but I'm just illustrating the level of corruption here.
Wow.
Okay. Why didn't he, if they were going to build houses and allow houses to be built on that land, why didn't they go to the farmers? Why didn't they? Answer: the farmers aren't the ones who attended the weddings and are our special friends.
It's incredible. Like the
Okay,
gall
now-
of these people.
Yeah. Now look, maybe I got a little facts wrong here and there. I stand to be corrected. I really, really do. Please correct me. I'm reaching out to the premier right now. What's his name? Oh, yeah. Ford. Premier Ford. Ford Nation. Sir, if I'm wrong in anything I've said, I'm open to correction. If this was not corruption, I'd like you to tell me. I really would. And I can tell you right now that Mr. Levine and myself, we'd be delighted to have you on any one of our morning or afternoon shows to talk about this and talk about how it is that friends of government make hundreds of millions of dollars overnight on farmland that's been held for generations and was worthless until your government decided somebody could build on it, but it wasn't that farm family.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, please come on and tell us.
Thank you for letting us know about this. See, I didn't know about that at all. I just knew greenbelt. I knew problem. Kerfuffle may have been the wrong word.
I might be wrong.
corrected
I
me.
might be wrong. I might be wrong. I admit it. So, Premier Ford, please come on. Heck, we'll even let you on tomorrow morning show. We'll bump the guest. You can come.
Drew? We're not going to bump Drew, but we'll make something happen. Come on. I hear your sentiment. Come on, Ford. Let's do it.
I had a peek into when our parliament's going to start back up, and it's going to be September 20th, where they will sit in to let us know that they will be on break until October 15th because it's conference season. So just think about how long these guys have been off now, and they're going to go back, and they're going to come right back in after a day and tell us that they're going on a break for a month. But one thing I thought would be important while we're talking about Ontario, Jason, is to bring up again today quickly. We've seen Lecce and the provincial government of Ontario talk about how they're making these big changes to school right now. But I also put up another document today. You can find it on my Twitter page about supporting students' gender identity and gender expression in Ontario, and that parent involvement is not required for students to take steps to transition at school. So it says, as staff, the responsibility is to uphold the privacy of the student based on the student's request. And then it says, regardless of the student's age. So,
Wow.
Where does this start at? What if we have kids in junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, who, maybe prefer playing with building blocks or instead of dolls or whatever? Are we going to start to guide these children down a path of picking what gender they are? This is where there's a lot of questions around all this craziness. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I remember when the biggest question we had starting school was which desk did we want and who's sitting beside us. Now they get to decide and maybe sometimes feel pressured to decide their gender and their preferred pronouns, and then anything else that they decide to tack on there. Litter boxes for kitty cat stuff. Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah,
Now,
and they've really gone on, and Lecce's really been trying to change his stance here and say that we're bringing back math to the classroom and science to the classroom, and it does sound appealing. It sounds like he's saying the right things, but are the right things actually going to be done? I don't know. This is what I'm seeing. These are internal documents that I just received from a superintendent, and there was a package I received last year, and they're looking like pretty much the exact same. So, where are they going to go with this? Have they just not made those changes yet? Or have they forgot to, change the paperwork up? Or are they saying this to the public to make them happy and giving these, teachers and staffs different options, on the other side of the road?
Oh, wow. And then anybody talk about taking their kids out? Anybody doing the homeschooling thing? Is there a push at all like that?
Yeah, there's a couple different in my region of Niagara. There's different learning pods and pop up centers that some people are doing around here, and some people like that, some people don't. There's a social aspect to that. One thing I always try and encourage parents is to make sure you know your rights as a parent and make sure you demand what you want from that system. If you don't want your kids attending school when public health is in the school, you make sure you write a note to the principal and you CC the superintendent and you make sure they know that's what you want, and they will respect those wishes and they will pull your children out because they know they'll be dealing with you in legal consequences if they don't.
Right. And then Donald, what are you hearing?
Well, first of all, I was overjoyed to hear a friend tell me that their 4-year-old will not be going to public school. They're going to form they're going to homeschool. They know of a couple of pods, I guess they're called, groups where children play together. So this is happening. It's happening on a big scale. And I read a couple of articles, all over the place, United States, and I think Alberta's big on homeschooling. Yeah. And as you mentioned this morning, there are problems in Quebec and such. But homeschooling's in. And now, can we go to the voucher system? People are starting to talk. Well, the unions are big, and boy, there'll be a pushback for that. But a voucher system, the parent gets the ticket, gets to choose the education system, gets to choose the school. If we believe in free enterprise, if we believe in that competition breeds excellence, why wouldn't you want that? Well, I think the teachers' unions have something to say about that, and it's got nothing to do with breeding excellence.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
So I was just so happy to hear this man talk about the fact that they've decided. And don't get me wrong here, they don't have the money for it. They're making lifestyle changes. They are downsizing. They're doing everything they can because that second car just isn't as important as that child.
Right. Completely true. And it's not stopping at the schools. It's also going into things like Pride Parade. So Rob had a video that we played this morning, I believe it was this morning, where there's a police officer saying, not in my book when it comes to whether or not the nudity should be allowed. And the police officer was absolutely expelling all the right things, except for not taking the action that he needed to take.
He's in neglect of duty. He's in neglect of duty.
Yeah, it upsets you.
There should have been, well, you know what? There's no reason. True. There's no reason why anyone watching that video, because that badge number was on the shoulder, couldn't file a complaint.
Well, I believe our friend Chris Vosenboss, I think it is, from Police Sent. Yeah, he called him out. So on Twitter, he called out that officer and let him know, there should be a complaint against you.
Right,
and
but
great job.
Why not do? Here we go. Saul Alinsky. If the enemy has rules, make them stick to it. File a complaint.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. That's something, now that I hear you say that, Donald, you would know that's a great course of action to be taken. And if you didn't see me writing down over here, I was writing down. We need to hold people accountable to their positions for sure. When you got a police officer, who's actually agreeing with that situation, which should be every officer, might I add. But, when you have someone agreeing to that and they're saying, my hands are tied because of the chief or whatnot. Well, you're not supposed to take unlawful orders. So, get out of that position. If you don't have the integrity to do your job and stand by your oath, then let someone else do that. That's the way I view it, at least anyhow.
Yep.
And how do you think they would respond, Don, if somebody was there with a megaphone just reading their oath to them, just kept repeating it over and over again to remind them over and over again what their oath was?
Gosh, that's not a bad idea, is it? And to even read the sections of the criminal code.
Yeah, just
that's
recite
not a bad idea. Of course, if you're in Finland and you read the Bible, they'll handcuff you and drag you away. They might do that in Toronto too.
Mhm.
But in every, why not? I mean, that's a great strategy. Frankly, I never thought of it.
Well, my idea
Not
to
bad.
the next convoy, if there is a next convoy, is you don't need to honk, just loudspeaker the premier himself speaking the things you don't like him saying. They're going to come and make it criminal to loudspeaker the prime minister speaking his horrible stuff. Good luck with that one.
When I was a copper walking the beat in Toronto, so many years ago, would have been about 1979, 80, down in the financial district. And this guy was standing on the corner handing out copies of his self-published books. And it was all about the stock market. And it said, it's like, you want corruption? It's here, $1. I paid him $1, gave him his book and everything. But that's what he was forced to do. He couldn't get the book published. He was a former stockbroker, and he was exposing the corruption. I've still got it around here someplace. And he was exposing the corruption. This is pre-internet days, but he stood on the corner with boxes and boxes of his books. And at the end of the day, those books were gone, and everybody had paid $1 or $2 or whatever it was for it. You do what you have to do to get out the message is my, whatever strategy of the day. And this strategy of reading the oath and the law to the lawbreakers who are there in uniform, I love it. I really like it. I like that.
I like it too, because what are they going to complain about?
And Police on Guard today during the interview, a couple of the other people started talking, they were ex-RCMP officers, and they started talking about the fact that many serving police officers deeply regret what was done during the lockdown and the Freedom Convoy and all that, and even what they did. And the question was, would the police next time around, or any protest that has bouncy castles, would they agree to do what they did before? And the consensus kind of was, I don't think that the political class can entirely rely on these people anymore. So we have to come at them with love. But I like the idea of reminding them about their oath and their duty and the laws that they're supposed to be enforcing, and something called rule of law. You can't kneel with Black Lives Matter during COVID, when they're breaking the rules, and then go and smack heads over at Adamson's barbecue for selling sandwiches and breaking the same rules. You can't do it.
Yep.
Right?
I think you're right. I think it's going to be a lot harder to find those cops that are willing to bang heads. I think it's going to be a lot harder this time around if there's another time like that.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Don, and thank you, Rob. We're now going to go to a little bit of a music break. Todd from Manitoba is running a little bit late, so we're going to start with Lindsay a little bit early.
Can I say something first?
Please do.
Rob, I think this is the first time we've been on together on any show, isn't it?
It is.
It is. I just wanted to say I love your work. I really do. Great to have you here. Great to be on with you. Keep it up. I just love what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. And I could say the same about you. I appreciate everything you're doing and the integrity that comes along with it. It gives us hope as Canadians that there were people in those positions who care about them and, are going to keep pressing these people to act accordingly. So God bless, and we'll be on here again together.
See you next time.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, primo best. That's a great combination. Take care, you too. Bye. Hello, Lindsay. How are you? Nice to see you again.
Yes, good to see you.
A long time no see.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the conversations.
Yeah, you actually mentioned something that in Alberta. You want to go ahead and mention that thing about the farmers? Go ahead.
Actually, because Donald was speaking about how was he saying the land, and then there was nothing when the farmers owned it, but then it was a corporation that owned it, and it was worth like 5 times as much.
Right, because it changes residential.
Yeah, just east of my place, like generational farmers, they lived, I don't know, like a mile or so south of the irrigation canal, and they were going to out of pocket, wanted to irrigate their land. And like, it's like $1 million, and they were going to do it pay for it over their whole lives and their kids' lives and everything else. But they were going to make it work, and they couldn't get approval to irrigate. This land then got sold to the local, like the nearest lot, which from what I understand is not locally owned, huge company from a different country. And they now have irrigation. So it's just very interesting to see the corruption on a lot of different levels.
They're emboldened for some reason. They're just really bold about how they just do it now.
Yeah, they don't care. Well, I mean,
we're not.
We stand up and they don't care. So why would we care about something like irrigation?
Well, maybe we need to more than stand up. We need to march forward. Maybe we need to march forward.
Absolutely. Okay.
Hey, maybe there'll be a song in the near future, March Forward.
Oh, another song title, March Forward.
There we go. We're all over this song title for you.
March on. Oh, yes. If there's song titles in the chat, please jot them down. Send them to me on something.
Sounds good. Padge, keep an eye out for those. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I got a couple tunes here for you. I'm going to play a cover just because, I mean, I play all my songs all the time, but I feel like this is a nice song to play, and it bridges all the way from Ontario to Alberta, at least. Because this guy is originally from Ontario, but we're really proud to have him in Alberta for like 70 years, probably, when he got over here. So here's a little Tyson for you. There's a young man that I know whose age is 21. He comes from down in southern Colorado, just out of service. He's someday soon, going with him someday soon. My parents cannot stand him 'cause he rides the rodeo. My father says that he will leave me crying, that I would follow him right down the roughest road I know. Someday soon, going with him someday soon. When he comes to call, my pa ain't got a good word to say. I guess it's 'cause he was just as wild in his younger days. So blow you all blue northern, blow my love to me. He's riding in tonight from California. He loves his damned old rodeo as much as he loves me. Someday soon, going with him someday soon. When he comes home, my pa ain't got a good word to say. I guess it's 'cause he was just as wild in his younger days. So blow you old blue northern, blow my love to me. He's riding tonight from California. He loves his damned old rodeo loves me. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon. Someday soon, going with him. Someday soon.
Oh, Lindsay, I haven't heard that one before. I
Oh,
like it. I
Thank
like
you.
it.
Thank
We
you.
have people in the chat saying they're crying. We have people in the chat saying this is why we fight. You are an example of why we keep fighting. Thank you,
Man,
Lindsay.
I so appreciate to stand beside people and yeah.
Yep, it's your people. There you go. Team Padgett's clapping away. It's the freedom people. We're your people.
It's
You're
that
our
freedom
people.
family, you know, they're the best people in the whole world. And it's to the point where I don't know if you're all like me, or maybe we shouldn't be like me, but I'm to the point if our values don't align, I have a hard time having a conversation. I have a hard time wanting to support you. Like if I'm at a store and I can pick my cashier and there's one that I can't see their full face, yeah, I'm probably not going to go to that one. As I'm paying with cash as much as possible.
For sure. We got to support each other on this one, even with the cash idea. Let people know that we still need it and we want it.
Absolutely.
Lindsay, that's a lovely message. And yeah, I think we're all going to do that. If we're walking into the grocery store and there's a choice, the one with the mask will be lonely.
And
I'll be asking to see her face, but
yeah, a real human, and maybe not the machines where you do it yourself, you know, just these little things. Like humans need humans.
yes.
When we became told not to be humans a couple years ago, that's when like holy dumpster fire. But
all right, humans need humans. There's another title.
Really do. Humans need humans.
We do. If we don't do that for one generation, we're screwed.
No, for real though.
Yeah.
I like just be human, I think better maybe. That was good. I like that better. I wrote it down.
Thank you. Look at you. Trademark, copyright. And look at the chat. I'm not making things up. The chat really loves this.
You're going to have to get a SoCan number so I can give you like some songwriting credits.
Oh my gosh, SoCan. I haven't heard that name in a long time. I used to know the president of that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get a check every now and then for like $20.
Oh wow, that's big money for me. Rumble is like $3 now. I'm getting up to $1.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know you could monetize Rumble. I think I need a Rumble station. I'm gonna work on that, but
let's get you going. I'll help you with that.
Just be like the day. The cashier was wearing a mask, so I made sure I paid with cash.
Always with a guitar though. Thank you, Lindsay.
All right. Sorry, you would like one more?
Please, and then we'll have Todd on short after that.
I'm trying to Welcome to my brain. This one's called Trailer Park Pretty. I got a green lawn chair from the dollar store sitting out on my front porch. Last week's laundry is hanging on the line. Might not be much, but it's what I've got. I'm high rolling on the corner lot. Welcome to my home, sweet double wide. Well, the door's broke, so am I. I'm getting good at getting by. Never had AC, I bet it worked just fine. I got Dolly Parton on cassette if you're looking for the good life, but this is it. The grass is greener here in Paradise City. I'm sitting trailer park pretty. Well, my hand-me-down Buick is in the drive. Only all ties of hay, she's my ride. Duct tape seats and she used to be maroon, but Lord, she's rusty. Stop on by and pour a whiskey sour. It's the redneck trailer happy hour. Just past 12 and Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Well, the screen doors broke, and so am I. I'm getting good at getting by, and if I had AC, I bet it'd work just fine. Got Dolly Parton on cassette. If you're looking for the good life, well, this is it. The grass is greener here in Paradise City. I'm sitting trailer park pretty. Well, I walk around this part of town with my head held high, fit for royalty, literally Miss Corn Queen 99. Well, the screen doors broke, but so am I. I'm getting good at getting by, and I'm representing Sunnyvale pride. Like those trailer park boys. Come on, my Eastern people.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, Dolly's greatest hits. If you're looking for the good life, well, you found it. The grass is greener here in Paradise City. It's a little old, but I'm still whistling Dixie. I was supposed to work Paula into this song. There you go,
It's
Paula.
all good.
That's all I got. Cause I'm sitting trailer park pretty.
Yeehaw! Yes, yes. I'll get Todd in there. Right on, right on. Trailer Park Pretty. I now have another top 5 or so with you. You got a lot of good songs.
Thank
You
you.
got a lot of good songs.
I quite enjoy my songs.
Yeah, yeah, and so does the chat. Look, Canada's falling in love with you quickly here.
Okay,
Quickly
good.
here.
Let's make a tour. Just come at me and tell me what your province, and I'll just work my way across there. Maybe in the spring, but whatever. I'm from Alberta. I'm not scared of winter. Let's go.
Oh, you let me know.
Yeah,
Let me know when you're coming to Winnipeg. We'll book you a show.
Okay, seriously, I think we should just do this.
I'm
And
down.
all the Freedom family can show up.
Yeah, it will be a music convoy as we make our way across all the way to Ottawa. We have people come across, and maybe we'll have a big concert in Ottawa.
Yep, me and Greg Arcade will do some things here and there, and then other right. Let's make it happen. Freedom Artist Tour.
All right, Canada, tell us no.
Love
Good
it.
luck with that. We're doing this.
Let's go.
Well, Canada, stick around. She'll be back for the end of the show. We'll have 2 more awesome songs from you. Thank you, Lindsay. And you got me all excited for the spring now. The winter's not going to be so cold anymore. Thank you. We'll talk soon. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye. Hey, Todd. How you doing? Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, my pleasure as always, Jason. Of course, you all know how much I love being a part of this broadcast, as it is one of the most unique and significant broadcasts with independent media in the country of Canada right now. Yeah, always happy to be here to represent Manitoba. Thanks for kind of arranging things to sort of wait for me as well, too.
No problem.
I guess that kind of really worked out very, very well because I loved hearing that performance. That was amazing. I didn't get a chance while she was still on screen. I know, somebody tell me, is she single? I'm willing to travel to Alberta.
Well, we
Oh
need
my
Winnipeg
gosh!
Alt
What an
Media.
incredible voice! What an incredible voice! What a really incredible everything right there. That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. And so again, thanks so much for waiting for me. Obviously, it doesn't matter in the end because that was way better than anything that I could say or do. Anyhow, the traffic and buses and everything in the city of Winnipeg right now is just horrendous, just ridiculous. But anyways.
Well, I did want to say thank you to you, Todd. I did catch one of your episodes where you gave me a shout out and you were mentioning my show and you were talking about me. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that.
Oh, brother, I've done that probably every one of my major studio broadcasts in the last few weeks, without a doubt. I put the link up there to all your stuff. I am going to rep you as hard as I possibly can because I figure that's what everybody in citizen journalism and independent media should be doing right now is like, put it this way, right now, and I thought maybe it would be sort of a little weird or awkward, but I actually kind of really enjoy it. Some of my broadcasts are now like a 50-50, the news items, the stories, and the things that I want to talk about, and just running through all the great things that other citizen journalists and independent media are doing and promoting them as well too. Like every time I get on camera right now, I almost have to like fight for like, what do I want to do more of? Because I just love how much I've seen the growth of citizen journalism and independent alternative media in Canada in just this summer. I could even speak to it. I mean, seriously, just in that one period, just one season, it has been palpable, to say the least. And that's a huge kudos to everybody out there, everybody watching, everybody who gets involved in these broadcasts. Of course, a massive kudos to Jason and everybody out there. And so much great independent media here in Manitoba. You got Brad Wilder from Wake Up Canada News. You got Marty Gold from the Great Canadian Talk Show. You got Shadow Davis from the Shadow Davis Show. You have the Daily... That's right. The Daily Scrum News is another one as well too that's been doing some really good stuff. I mean, it's just really, really expanding, and it's getting somewhere, and it's meaningful and it's impactful. So yeah, it's incredible. I'll quickly kind of, I guess, start to hop over into what I'm always looking forward to do here, which of course is to provide the rest of Canada with some updates on Manitoba news and what Winnipeg Alternative Media is up to. It's kind of funny. It seems like I'm a bit of a broken record here. In the past several times that I've appeared on this broadcast, I think I've touched on the fact that, of course, we're looking towards a very interesting and exciting fall here in Manitoba, to do with the fact we have a provincial election coming up that was now officially announced yesterday. What the Conservatives are doing, and some of the things that myself and others know is actually happening behind closed doors with the Manitoba Conservative Party. They're trying to very much... it's actually really interesting. I've heard it even from the Liberals. The only party right now in Manitoba that is not saying that they kind of want to change and almost a little bit divulge away from the federal and national parties that they kind of, obviously still belong to, is the NDP. Both the Liberals and the Conservatives have said that they're trying to get back to what they should look like in just provincial politics, which actually is a good thing. I don't have any faith in it right now. It's all when it's election time, anything can be smoke up your ass. We all know that. But it has been very interesting. Dougald Lamont of the provincial Liberals and, of course, Heather Stephenson of the provincial PCs have both been taking some interesting and different stances on a lot of different things, and seeming very much more like, the provincial parties they should be, as opposed to just dovetailing off the federal parties. So that's been great to see. Again, it's election time, so we'll watch it play out. And then again, of course, the other news item that I've always been bringing back has been what's been happening with the school boards here in Manitoba. Yes. And that story has continued again. The latest stuff from Winnipeg Alternative Media just from yesterday was a press conference held outside of Louis Riel School Division's head office. Again, maybe, hopefully, I guess at this point, and again, I know I seem like a bit of a broken record here, but that's just because we're really, really tracking these stories. And I know they dovetail into stories that are happening in your communities right across the nation. The Louis Riel School Division, this has to do, of course, with a suspended school trustee, Francine Champagne, that was received a very unwarranted suspension. Then people who attended a school board meeting to go ahead and talk about that unwarranted suspension, 35 of them then received letters saying that they were banned for ever going on the grounds of the division ever at all. So in the lead up to now that, of course, school has just started this week, in the lead up to what's going to be the school board's first meeting in the next just week or so, I believe, some of the individuals that had received the letter saying that they were banned alerted the media that they would hold a press conference to talk about this ahead of what everybody in this province is waiting for, which is when that school, when Louis Riel School Division has its first board meeting, and what they're going to say about Francine, because then her suspension is over and she gets to come back to work. And so there's going to be some very interesting things to watch at play there. So they held this meeting last night, this conference, I should say, press conference last night. Mainstream media was there. Winnipeg Alternative Media was there. We filmed everything. You can go see that all on all of our channels, Facebook. Of course, it's on Rumble, and of course, it's on our website. I always want to promote just the website, wham.live, because that has so many other great independent citizen journalists there as well, too. And it was a great press conference. It then got kind of, I'll say, attacked by a counter protester who berated. What's that?
Just the one?
Just the one.
Good. The numbers are dwindling.
Did you see the video?
No, not yet. Sorry.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, no, just one. One counter protester came out and decided to yell and scream some very interesting things at this very, very peaceful crowd for a good maybe couple minutes or so. Of course, we're the only ones that have footage of all of that. That blew up in Winnipeg media, all mainstream media, all talking about it today throughout the city. Very kind of funny. Of course, we're the only ones with completely uncensored, unedited footage. You can go see all of that on our Rumble channel and on wham.live. So that only continues to point towards, of course, the fact that what we've been talking about now for the duration of this summer, of how interesting the beginning of the school year and heading towards October is going to be in this province is, of course, right on track for exactly what we've been predicting. We also now have some insider kind of video from another school board meeting in the Prairie Rose division that's out at around Carmen, Manitoba. I'll be talking about this in my broadcast tomorrow. I'll be doing my weekly Prairie Truth broadcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, live, of course, on Rumble, X, and Facebook. And we'll be talking about this and showing the footage of the incredible things that were found in these schools and the libraries in that area. A parent reads some of this stuff out loud. It is, it's flabbergasting to say the least. I'm not even going to get into it right now. The reaction of the school board is very interesting. They are supposed to release the footage because, this is interesting as well too, Louis Riel School Division is supposed to film their meetings. They all are, and they're all supposed to make them public. Louis Riel has even denied doing that. This other one that we now have footage from, Prairie Rose, they did do their job in filming the meeting, and somebody signed on to go be a part of the filming of the meeting via Zoom, I believe, and then screen recorded it, and that's why we have the footage. Cool. But the school division has refused to release the footage themselves. So only because somebody is out there, and again, I'm only saying this because everybody needs to make note of this kind of thing. I don't care if you don't have a child even in the school division. At least, well, I'm going to say at least maybe live in the city, live in the town that we're talking about. Don't just do it from some random province somewhere else. Well, I guess you could, but again, it's probably best you're at least somewhat close to the community. But sign up to those Zoom meetings and screen record that stuff, especially if you know a parent or a concerned citizen is going in there and is going to be allowed to speak, and you know that they're going to be asking the hard questions and raising concerns. Go ahead and maybe one of the best ways. I mean, of course, you can also try to go in as just a citizen or whatever else, a community member, and try to really, it's supposed to all be filmed. They're supposed to be filming it themselves and then make it all public. So I would say you should be allowed to just walk right into the meeting and have your phone up and film. But because we know that then they're doing stuff like shutting down meetings early and calling police and blah, 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 maybe one of the easiest ways to do it is just go sign up to the Zoom meeting, sit at home, and screen record the whole darn thing. And that is, Todd is a Red Bull. Hey. You're right.
But I do got to move over to Saskatchewan. We are a little bit
yes, absolutely. So I would suggest people do that, and we will be exploring footage like that tomorrow on tomorrow's broadcast. And it's a good way to be able to get out what's happening there, because of course, even if they do their job and properly record it and have it live on Zoom, then after it's done being live, they just throw it in the basement. And then you have to go through the whole Freedom of Information Act process to go get it back. So if you just go ahead and sign up to the Zoom meeting and then screen record, good to go.
Very cool. Very cool. And thank you very much for that. And I think what we should try and do is not just locally, let's get some of these national. Let's bring some attention to a school division in Manitoba that might be rocking the boat here and bring some attention to them because they need
I
to
agree.
know that Canada doesn't agree coast to coast. You don't have to be a resident. Canada doesn't agree with what you're doing. So let's let them know. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, no, I guess I was just really saying about it, just, I don't know. To me, it would seem a little more significant if the person at least signing up to the Zoom meeting and recording it was still at least like, living somewhere close to the community. But at the end of the day, no, it doesn't really matter. You know what? Especially, if you really are saying, if you're really involving yourself in investigative journalism and being like, a citizen journalist, that kind of thing, you got a body of work as well, too. I'd say, yeah, then maybe Jason is even more correct and kind of even in the right for correcting me. That maybe it's even better to have maybe a team of kind of citizen journalists out there saying like, let's sign up to all these Zoom meetings, screen record them all. Why not? Maybe go that route. Jason's probably, you know what, Jason? I'm going to go ahead and say you're probably right.
Well, what I like about that is I want them to know 1,000 people will be watching, 2,000
Agreed.
next week.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. I agree. You're right.
Cool. So let's go fix this Sochi thing one province at a time. And I know who's ready to do that. It's Zach. And as you were talking there, Todd, Zach is one amazing podcaster. And he's stepped up his game the last few weeks for sure. And his guest yesterday was amazing too. So thank you very much, Todd. And now we're going to go over to Saskatchewan and talk to Zach. Thanks.
Hey,
Todd.
Jason, how's it going?
Going really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy last couple of days, and I've been prepping for. I have Sarah Shashunian on. I think that's how you say her name, right?
Yeah, she's a tough one, but she's a great guest. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
you took
so
her
I
on.
have her tomorrow night. Really excited for that interview, and yeah, like the Saskatchewan update is just more Soji stuff. That's pretty much all that's going on in the province. I have been talking to a couple farmers just to kind of see where they're at, and some farmers say it's great yield, others say it's an average year. We haven't had much rain, so I'm actually surprised that some of the crops look as good as they do.
Mhm.
And I read something today that it's like it's been like a record high crop insurance
Claims.
filing or whatever, something like that, where people are kind of putting in around Saskatchewan to get some money back from having a low yield. So I don't really know. We'll see how it all finishes up in the next month or so. But so I did try to get like a more of a local update from some farmers and stuff like that. But as far as lots of stuff that I have, it's just all this Soji stuff. So there's been a lot of backlash on, I would say one side is really upset about the ruling that happened a couple weeks ago. There was a big protest. It was called the Show Up for Sask Trans Youth, and they did a protest in Regina at our Ledge building. And there's a couple hundred people there, nothing too crazy. I actually wanted to attend, but it was at an inconvenient time for me. But just to kind of check it out and be a face in the crowd, a witness, as you would like to say, and and do that. But it just didn't match up time. But I know lots of people attended it, and you can definitely see there's a lot of people upset with the government just saying that the parents need to be able to be told what's going on in the classroom. So that's kind of like disheartening. I don't know why so many people are upset with that or just running with like a narrative that isn't true per se. And when we look at what they're actually wanting, is they're wanting this completely reversed. And the lawsuit from UR Pride, which is a University of Regina LGBT Alphabet Community Plus group there that actually had a hand in shaping the Saskatchewan curriculum back in 2010. So they have their fingers in this pot, and obviously they were working alongside the SAS party to be able to have a say in what actually is put into the curriculum. So they're obviously upset a little bit that something like this is being overturned. They feel that their people are going to be marginalized and ultimately killed or harassed and all this stuff. It's just, the rhetoric is kind of insane. And of course, it's propped up by the mainstream media and stuff like that as well. So that's going to be going forward. So we'll see how that plays out. I think the first day, I think it's next Thursday, the 14th or something like that, when they're going to have their first kind of probably opening arguments or something like that against the government. And they've kind of brought in like all of the school boards as well as I would say that's defendants, I guess. and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to go out in UR Pride's favor, especially if you see how other provinces are also doing very similar legislation. Like I don't think, I can't see the policy being overturned.
Cool. And that probably there'll be a respondent, because there'll be an applicant and a respondent, because this is not civil or criminal. But
Yeah,
in either
my
case,
my
there was
legalese
respondent.
is not very good. So
No
when it
problem.
comes
No
to when
problem.
it comes to that stuff, I have no idea. I just use what I've seen on TV.
Yeah,
But
no, for sure. For sure. But that's good news. Like, you think it's gonna go right? What do you think's gonna happen?
I think that the government will have no option but to have the legislation stay in place. I don't think that they're going to even budge on anything. It's just too politically unpopular if they do. There's a lot of pressure from alternative parties here in Saskatchewan that if they botch this, they can actually it's a guaranteed loss. I think there's enough people that have kind of woken up specifically around Saskatchewan with this issue, and if the Sask party doesn't win this lawsuit or have a positive outcome, I guess, then we could definitely see a fracturing in the legislature. So this is a
Mm.
very, very important topic, and we are just over a year until the next election. So again, this stuff is going to be starting ramping up. You're going to see a lot more soft policies come through that will, try to sway voters and stuff like that here from the Sask party to kind of just kind of lead up to that. So I could see them maybe even throwing another thing later in halfway through the year that would get even more people up in arms. So that's the way that I see it. And I think that, honestly, it is a positive that, provinces right across the country are, giving parental rights, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to kind of even a way to even look at it, giving parental rights back. So it is a win. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. And I do want to remind people whenever I talk about this subject, because it's so important to remember who the people that actually brought these policies in, and you can even look towards the federal conservatives as well, as if you're looking at problems within like the SOGI subject. The federal conservatives voted for Bill C4, which is a ban on conversion therapy, which removes the parents' ability to basically say that there's two genders and teach that to their kids, right? So there's a lot to this this culture war, but I do think the province is kind of saying like this is what we're going to be doing going forward. I think is a positive, and it's waking people up.
Yeah, well, that's good news. So you got a year away for the election. Sask party is pushing hard. If they don't push hard enough, you think that's gonna cause a problem for them in the election?
Well, I don't like the urban vote. They will definitely, if they have any urban seats, I think they will lose them. Just kind of the way that it goes. The Sask party's been in power way too long for them not to lose seats to the opposition. So I think the NDP will definitely pick up some urban ones, but
Okay.
I would put good money on the Sask party losing rural votes to, I would probably say more so the Sask United Party, but could also be the Buffalo Party in a couple of ridings as well. So that's how I see that playing out. But we're still 14 months or so away from the election. It's kind of too early to tell. But definitely, I think that just the way that they've been doing things, specifically to the SOGI issue, firearms, even our carbon tax and provincial sovereignty. I think those are some issues where they have to either come out pretty strong and come out swinging, which will make them lose votes to the NDP, just to be able to try to maintain some rural ones. So there will be a culture clash that way. And actually, I did read this today. The Sask United Party, which has one member in our legislature, pushed to have, because we had like $1 billion surplus or something like that budget wise, is to reduce the provincial income tax from 6% to 1%, or sorry, sales tax, not income tax, down from 6% to 5% like it was prior. And it was completely struck down by everybody else in the legislature. So you can tell that, the Sask party is bragging about how much money we have, but won't actually give it back, any type of tax cuts back to the citizens. So, there's things that if people are paying attention, they'll actually realize that what the Sask party is.
I'm excited about that because Saskatchewan's pushing hard, which is a small province, but it's got a lot of weight. I think a lot of provinces will pick it up as well. Manitoba's doing their work as well. I wonder if there's a way to kind of share both messages and what's going on, so Canada can know that there's a big push against SOGI here.
Well, I don't even think it's that, and I think this is a really big missed opportunity from the Maverick Party. Is what the Maverick Party should have done was become an interprovincial party. So they should have had right from BC to Manitoba, and run provincial candidates and have it all managed interprovincially, right? Because what we're seeing is the Maverick just went straight for the federal throat, which they have no strength in doing that whatsoever. But if they were actually to be able to unify right across and have a unified message from all of the provinces, all kind of under one banner, you can have the strength of the other provinces so that you know that, hey, the policies in Saskatchewan are going to be similar to that in Manitoba and Alberta and BC, and really run a party system that way. I think that was a big missed opportunity, which could really add strength to not just maybe say the separatist movement, but to be able to actually give these parties that are an alternative some strength and some unity for the West. So I think that was a missed opportunity there. But with that, new entrances to the political landscape right across the prairies, I think is a really good thing. Especially specifically with the Buffalo Party and Sask United here, I think that we're definitely starting to see differences of opinions that are more freedom oriented and not just whatever the establishment wants. So definitely positives there.
Great. So the pendulum's swinging pretty good in Saskatchewan right now, you think?
I would say so. Yeah. There's some I would say, especially once election season heats up, you will definitely see the gloves come off from these new parties, and you'll see. I'm really hoping, like I would say, if the alternative parties could get 15 seats rurally, I think that is a massive win. It would change Canada. Honestly, it would, because you would have a different Saskatchewan not wanting to play ball with, even if the Conservative Party gets in.
Okay, cool. Okay, I would like to see that. So yeah, okay, that seems like a good path. You keep us updated on that, Zach. Stick around if you want to check out Lindsay's music. But yeah, we're gonna head over to Alberta now. Quick announcement for everybody. This is a Pat King fundraising only. He's here only for fundraising for legal. You'll understand in a moment. But this is for fundraising for legal only for Pat King's appearance. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, guys. Way to go, Zach. That's awesome to hear from Saskatchewan. All your updates are pretty cool. This is a neat interaction. I like this.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm out of the loop with everybody, unfortunately, or I'd be right in there hands deep. But it sounds like this is something to be proud of, that people are coming together, communicating their issues, and working as a community, like we should have been all along. And it's slowly coming together. And I just like to say to everybody, hats off to each and every one of you for doing that. That's the same thing that we're doing here as well. Yes, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is for fundraising purposes. Yeah, and we're holding an event here in Caroline, Alberta, just outside of Red Deer, on September 15th, 16th, and 17th. This is the updated schedule. So we've got the gates are opening at 11 a.m. Food, merchandise, bouncy castles, money dirt pile for the kids, meet and greet and socialize. 7 p.m. concert start, featuring Carmen Cohen, Electric Ladyland. That'll be on the Friday evening. And then Saturday is packed full of events. It's Cowboy Breakfast, 8 a.m. Opening ceremonies begin at 11 a.m. Bulls to begin at 1. The legendary Dennis Halstead, that's him in the picture there. He's a world famous bull rodeo clown that has been in the NFRs, CFRs, and as well as the Stampedes and everything else. Then you've got Cowboy Poker, which it hasn't been updated on this, but Cowboy Poker is when you sit around the chair and the bulls plow you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the prize pool is actually $500. So to anybody who wants to enter that, they're going to have to, we do provide the puncture vests, and we do provide helmets for this event. But the prize is $500. I'm going in. There's a few others that are looking at going in. I don't know, man. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be fun. But barrel races begin at 3 p.m. right following after all of that fun stuff. And then we get into biker games. So we got the Harleys out there. People will be doing hot dog contests, drag pulls, slow rolls, keg pushes, all those kind of things. And then 7:30, the big concert starts. Reed Salmon takes the stage. And then we also have a special guest that's stepping in between there that's showing up. We'll find that out on Sunday on my podcast. It'll be Sunday evening. We'll be bringing that up. And then Sweet Tequila to take the stage at 9:30. Sweet Tequila is my surety that got me out of prison.
cool.
Got help. Well, one of three that got me out, and he's one of North America or Western Canada's largest concert promoters. And he's in behind us, and he's coming to take the stage for one hell of a show. He used to play for toured with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and played for Stomp Tom Connors for years. So he's a really good, well-known musician. His band is amazing, Sweet Tequila. Then we got Sunday, we got our cowboy breakfast, and then church with Pastor Rob from
Right
the
on,
Bikers.
Pastor Rob.
Yeah, Pastor Rob from Ottawa. So the Bikers Church Cruise is coming to represent from Ottawa. And then closing ceremonies to follow, gates to close at 5. It's going to be one heck of a weekend. I'm recommending people. We've got tons of sponsors. You got R&D Plumbing and Heating just donated us a hot tub, $27,000 hot tub, and we have tickets on sale right now for that hot tub. Not tickets, sorry, bumper stickers. At $100 a bumper sticker with a limited sold. There's a cap on it, so there's 420 bumper stickers, and you guys get these bumper stickers for your chance to win a $30,000 hot tub, as well as Image Hair Designs is donating radios and tents for like the party tent style. We got Bikers Church representing their end of things. Northcott Rodeo, which is Ty Northcott, if you're familiar with Northcott Inc. and what they did at the COVID lockdowns here in Alberta. Right. He held a big rodeo, and we were able to stave off the RCMP from trying to shut it down. And did massive events with Ty. He's doing one actually this weekend coming up at Chris Scott's event in Bashaw. So that'll be interesting too. So if you want to go out and support that, feel free. But in my realm of things, ladies and gentlemen, I understand people can't make the event, and I understand that you can't, but if you can, there are pay it forward ticket options as well, and you can pay it forward, and we draw every live podcast. We put in what do you call it, tickets for people who want to attend, and the pay it forwards are donated out. We have lots of struggles, you're right. Lake 10, Pat, you have your own struggles right now. I do. I'm watching this fiasco of a court case going on in Ottawa. Yep. And the fact that it's not televised yet, we had mainstream media slander, defame, absolutely tarnish and discredit every one of us, but we don't have the rights to have mainstream media have this televised so we can actually watch the court proceedings, so we can see for ourselves what the actions of the Crown is actually doing. I think this is an absolute farce in Canada. I think we should have the opportunity to watch this. You guys deserve it. We all deserve it. And I think even the left side of the public deserves to see it as well, to see what kind of an absolute horrendous episode that occurred near the tail end of that, and what's still going on with the Coots guys. These things need to be the forefront in Canadian politics, in my mind. And the reason for that is simply we're losing this country in a horrible way. And if more people can get actual sight of this and catch sight of what's going on, then maybe people might take their heads out of the sand and be able to realize you've got people that are silenced, that aren't allowed to talk in Canada. And last count, there was 200 political prisoners in Canada right now, myself being one, and the others as well. And we all know them very well because this is a well tight-knit community that we all have here. So it's not the Canada that I grew up in. It's not the Canada that I want to leave for my children. We're seeing this stuff, like you guys are saying. I touched base on some of the stuff with your schooling issues. That's ridiculous. The day you take the parental rights away from the parent, that's it. That's it. Close the doors, chain the doors, change the education doors, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. No more of that. I gotta watch what I say because I am under conditions, and I don't want to say anything too much. But the rights of parents is gone, and where are the parents? Why aren't you screaming this? I know some are, but there should be a lot more than this. Remember, we had a trans person put on a Bud Light can, and it flared up the whole country of United States. But now, where are you? Where is everybody gone? Nobody. That's kind of like gone by the wayside. And I understand people are apprehensive. I understand, but Ladies and gentlemen, Team Canada just took a bunch of hits. We're in trials. We're in courts. My next trial is November 27th. I got a court date on the 3rd. And then I got trial on November 27th for all of this nonsense. I look at it as we're all a team, and the fans behind the team are what make the team. Where are you? That those courtrooms should be packed. There should be like those doors should be stuck on the open because it's overflowing with people. I understand the apprehension though, but listen, ladies and gentlemen, we took the hits. It's time for our 3rd and 4th stringers to come up. It's time for our goon squads to stand up. You know what I mean? Like this is it's unprecedented. And these trials and these cases that we're going into are setting a precedence for the future of Canadians. I understand you may have your beliefs about myself. You may have your thoughts about myself, and that's fine. We all have them, and that's okay. And I understand that. But understand that it's bigger than me. So your chips on your shoulder about me, it's bigger than me. Your chips on your shoulder about Tamara and Chris and everybody, it's bigger than me, bigger than them. This is our future here in Canada. We need to put those apprehensions to the side, and let's get behind our players. We need to support our players, and everything counts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm asking for donations because my bank accounts are still frozen after 2 years. I do not have access to my bank accounts, and I say this every day. I don't want to see this happen to anybody to have to survive the way I have to survive. I have to use a Money Mart prepaid MasterCard in order to get my checks put on them at 12%. I'm using, Jerry Lewis telethons to try and get money to pay for my lawyer fees because albeit the courts understand my bank accounts are frozen. So what can we do to try and help? Oh, we're going to give him his social media back for fundraising, but he can only fundraise. He can only talk about fundraising. And then when you get back on your platform, they shadow ban you so bad that you can't get your message out. So I'm asking everybody out there, I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like Chris and Tamara. I don't care if you don't like other people in this movement. Put those differences aside and get behind this because we need your help. We took the hits, and now it's time to, help us out. I get it. I don't like certain people either, but we just bite it. And we keep our drama off the Facebook pages and off the internets and off the social medias. And just understand that we are fighting for you guys in the courts. We are struggling to survive. And I'm not even allowed to talk. I want to spew my guts about 15-minute cities. I want to tell you all about the UN agendas, your SOGIs, your what they're actually doing to you, but I can't. And how would you feel if you weren't allowed to speak, unless it was for fundraising purposes only, ladies and gentlemen? All donations can be donated to my lawyer at natasha.calvino@gmail.com. You see how asinine that is? That is absolutely insane. And I feel for everybody out there that's going through it. I feel for the apprehension of people who, it's Pat King. It's not Pat King. It's what the media's portrayed you, or shills or trolls online have portrayed me as. I'm the nicest guy in the world. I always have been. I am outspoken, and I'm a little rough around the edges. But what Canadian man isn't that way? We are outspoken people. It's in our culture. It's in our nature. As well as, well, you know what? I don't like liars. So I tell the truth. And sometimes that hurts people's feelings. But you'll get over it, brother, because it's the truth. You know it's the truth. And that's exactly it. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know what I mean?
Look, Pat,
That's
I saw
my
a
rant.
lot of love. I saw a lot of love around you in Leduc when we were there for your event. You were in the dunk tank. You were taking the dunks. You were hugging. You were loving. I saw nothing but smiles at that event. And I was really, really proud that you had us there for that. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was good. And your
Thanks
speech,
for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah, your speech is still resonating with me because you talked about the men. The men, they call you, they talk to you, and they wanted to know about you. And you found that to be quite humbling because they're there with all their troubles, and all they really wanted to know was how's Pat doing? And how is Pat doing?
Right. Well, I'm under a lot of stress. Right now, if things are getting close, we're 9 days away from the rodeo event. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're coming, if you want to be there, we're 9 days away, September 15th, 16th, and 17th. So the stress is starting to get on. I got like a couple stress pimples happening now and stuff. But I'm stressed out right now. And we'll just elaborate a little bit on this, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know, I discussed topics. I've talked with the guys in Coots in jail that have been there for 500 plus days now, and I've spoke with them and understanding where they're coming from and what they're going through, but also that all their concern was how I was doing, and it absolutely blew me away because these guys are sitting in prison. But they're understanding and humble to the fact that they're there for a purpose, such as what we're here for a purpose. God put us in these places to bring out this exposure and to be there for what people need to see. And I firmly believe that we are on the right path to this. But stress is adding up for me because, well, on one thing, I'm trying to get this event off the ground. And the second one is the fact that Tamara and Chris are in trial together right now. And from what I'm getting from the bits and pieces of people that are in the courtrooms, it's an absolute clown show with what the Crown is providing. But there's anticipation of charges being dropped. And it's just a nail-biting experience not being able to be there, let alone, I'm not allowed to talk to them. I'm not allowed to be in the city of Ottawa. You're not even allowed to be in a city in your own country. Like, God.
How ridiculous is that, eh?
What's that?
How ridiculous is that? Can't even be in the own capital of your country. Like,
right. And then the conditions too, right? Like I'm some terrorist that I can't even go outside at 10 p.m. at night, like after 10 p.m. It's mind-boggling. But not having that information and having to trust the lamestream media to give an accurate, detailed report on what's going on there, it's nail biting for me because I know what they're coming at for me, and I'm waiting to see what they're going at them for so that I can get prepared because they're going to try the same nonsense on me. Luckily, I went with a jury trial. So I don't have the option of a judge making the decision for me. And I'm hoping that was the best course of action because I don't trust these judges in Canada, let alone the city of Ottawa. So I'm really, really on edge knowing what's going on and what they're doing to these people down there, and what they're going to do to me. So my trial comes up, like I said, November 27th. I'm excited. Like Chris said in his news report the other day, he's excited. I'm excited as well. I'm excited to get this over with and move on with the rest of my life. But at the same time, I'm stressed out because I know I'm target public enemy number one. I get what they did. I get what the other group did, what those two did. And I understand what they're under, but I got a little bit dirty with the investigations and pulling out the truth and showing the proof of this foreign influence from China. I have a big hand in that. I have a big hand in the selling out of our economic gross domestic product here in Canada. I also have chased these guys all over Europe and in the Montreux, Switzerland at Bilderberg conferences. So I've got a lot on the line that I'm going up against. And I know that these guys are coming for me. I know that the Crown is gunning for me specifically. And it's going to, I feel like it's going to be a Julian Assange thing. Like they're going to nail me to the cross and I'm going to be the sacrificial lamb to all of this thing. So it's gut wrenching sometimes.
Well, I have a special guest for you, Mr. Trudeau himself.
What?
Hello.
Justin Trudeau.
Bonjour, mes amis. Bon matin. How's everybody doing over there? I took some time from my busy schedule, and yet here you are, waiting for me. I'm so pleased. What will we be talking about today?
We're talking about packing trail command.
Excuse me?
Pat King's trial. You put him in jail. Don't you remember this?
Pat King, is he one of those trucker types, white male misogynists? I have no time for those people.
That would be the man.
Now listen, which one of you is Pat? You're all wearing trucker hats. I can't
You
tell.
mean you don't know who I am? I'm pretty sure you know who I am, Justin.
Yeah, sorry, we have a big echo from Justin, or that might be Cease's cutting in there. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, this is Pat King right here.
That's funny. You got something to say to me or what?
I just want to say, like all good Canadians, hang in there, roll up your sleeves like I do, because I'm a common working man, just like all of you. And from coast to coast to coast, we will continue to work together and stand up for democracy, unless it's, of course, something you don't like about my government. But as far as protests in other countries and faraway places where we give lots of money, then that's completely fine, and I'm all up for that.
Well,
now, excuse me, Jason?
How's Sophie doing?
Sophie, I'll never forget that first night that we were together. She took one look at my ding-dong and said, "This is unacceptable." Are working things out, just like any good Canadian couple. We pull ourselves out of challenging situations. We don't just say, "Oh no, it's broken, it's broken." No, that's not who Canadians are. Instead, we are a group of people who are loyal and trustworthy to the science. In fact, a graph came out recently showing a 25% reduction in misogyny just from taking the booster. I mean, I don't know why you're all laughing. That's probably because several of them died so quickly right after, but at least I get to call it my favorite label, unknown cause.
Hey, I think the cops are coming for you, man. You better run.
That's okay. By the time they get here, I will have awarded myself the $75,000 needed for a sex change. And they won't recognize me.
Well, instead of screwing this country, you should have screwed your wife a little better.
Oh, wow.
You see? It's not bad already, right? Kind of a Michael Jackson look. I just need a little makeup.
You have some shoe polish for that?
Yes. In fact, it's called my JT's Midnight Evening Mask. And what you do is you put it on at night, wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and eager and looking forward to getting back to that privileged white face that you always were.
So is it true, Justin, that you and Sammy Ali had sexual conduct at the West Point Academy in Vancouver?
We don't have time for disrespectful misinformation and disinformation like this. For those of you that want to support Ukraine, go ahead, because I'm standing with them. I'm not standing with people who lie. And sir, if you're not going to be respectful, you can leave the room.
Can I just
And
ask,
by the way,
Mr. Prime Minister, who do you think is or was a better dictator? Your dad, Fidel, or yourself?
Fidel, you mean Pierre? I don't know any Fidel. I did a DNA test recently, though, and it did say I had some Cuban blood. I'm not sure why that is.
Margaret could tell you in on that.
Well, I do look up to the basic dictatorships in, let's say, Mao Zedong's China and Cuba and Vietnam, North Korea, places like that. I do look up, but we've made it our special brand of democracy so that people in Coutts, for example, the family there, they can have a fair trial. And I don't see any problem with them being in a jail for a year and a half, just to make absolutely sure, because we don't want to make any mistakes now, because they could be dangerous to release into the public until we know all the details. And by the way, there's been some questions of where the money is going to support the family in Coutts, and I can make that very simply. Let me be very clear. Just send it to me and Christia, and we'll make sure it gets there.
That sounds about right. Hey, Pat, do you have a question there for our Grand Supreme? Prime Minister here?
Absolutely. So Mr. Fancy Socks, I had a good interview with your stepbrother, Kyle Kemper. And Kyle, we were talking while we were in Ottawa with regards to how it is that you are acting the way you are acting, and what gives you the drive of what you're doing. And your own brother, out of his own mouth, in his own words, said that you were compromised and you've been blackmailed by the WEF and by all these guys. Is this true?
Is blackmailed like blackface? Because I like doing that. Well, to answer your question, though, more on a serious note, I'm driven by the people of this great nation that we love, and we listen to one another, and we work towards fiscal responsibility, openness, a dialogue with each other, as long as you're not saying anything against me. And I was born for this job. Just because he's a half brother and a half wit, I can't help that he wasn't be able to afford to go to the same school and drama school that I went to so that I could act better.
Follow-up
Sorry,
question.
the only openness
Follow-up
we have
question.
in
Sorry,
Trudeau's
point of
Canada
order,
is
point of
open
order.
borders.
Follow-up question. Sorry. You didn't answer another question. You skirted around the issue again. Once again, are you compromised? Have you been blackmailed?
I act accordingly from the rules of the Charter of Rights. I follow all laws, except when I'm embezzling a little bit from Acuitas and some other schemes. But otherwise, I never lie about anything. I never released any horses at the, what do you call it, the Ottawa Stampede or whatever that trucker bash was. And I never put any people in jail or froze any bank accounts. That was all Christia and some other people that I'll be firing. And because I need to have a more diverse cabinet. You see, all white people are exactly the same. There's no diversity there. They come from all the same background, the same exact personalities. So that's why we need different skin colors. That's where we get the diversity. And by the way, I had the new vaccine, and getting that shot, I mean, it just was an amazing feeling. And it gets you.
Well, we're glad you're still here there. Steve, did you have a question for the Prime Minister?
Oh, it's just a remark that the only openness in Canada under Trudeau is open borders.
Well, I do love POCs because my daddy's Cuban. And we need more of them in this country to take the jobs that white supremacists don't want. And it's making a difference in our economy. We have unprecedented low house prices, or what's the proper term for that? I'm not really an expert in that. I'm good at multiplying, but I'm even better at dividing.
No doubt. Pat,
This guy is priceless, man.
Trudeau, if you think white men are the problem, why haven't you stepped down and given your position to Jagmeet?
Ooh, good question.
Jagmeet, he's one of my best buddies. In fact, Jagmeet, go back into the bathroom. I'll see you in a minute. Sorry, we were just having a little fun. That's why I had that Band-Aid on my head a few weeks ago. Don't worry, you'll be in great hands with him. He's a colored man, and we need more colored people besides the first blackface president to rule this country.
Very good, very good. And how is your boss doing, Klaus? Is he treating you nice? Are you ready for Christmas? How's Klaus doing to you?
Don't talk mean about my Klaus. Klaus is saving the world from climate change disaster. Today it was 19 degrees Celsius here in Vancouver, and I couldn't believe it. I was sweating, and I tried to go out and set a backburn in the forests of northern BC to try to save everybody.
Good man. You're helping everybody. And Pat, I guess you're loving this. Do you have any questions about the court trial?
Oh man, I needed that right now. That's like the moment that I needed. I've been stressed out all day. This guy is a riot. I don't know your real name, but you know what? You got my vote for comedy best. What do you call it? The best impersonation. That's good. I've got so many questions. I wish you really were the real guy. But my biggest question on a satirical level is, do you like? Oh no, I can't, because I'm in court, ladies and gentlemen. This is for fundraising purposes, and there's so much I want to say.
Put it in the chat and I'll ask it.
All right.
So Justin, do you mind reminding everybody how law-abiding we are, and that this is for fundraising purposes only for Pat King and no other purposes? Because we're law-abiding Canadians here with trucker hats.
Excellent. So then I won't have to freeze your bank accounts. If this is legal, we'll have my Chinese friends look into it to make sure that it's valid. And we'll be giving some of the funds to the carbon tax so that we can lower the global temperature, even though we're only one small country in the whole world.
That sounds like you got our best intentions in play there. And Pat, I think he's on a time limit. His plane is revving up in the driveway back there. I think he's got 2 planes. He's getting ready to go for a flight. Do you have any more questions for this guy that will keep you out of jail?
If I could get one in quickly. So there's a really hot event coming up here in Alberta, Mr. Trudeau. And as you know, Albertans love the rodeo. You always come out for the stampede. Would you be a rodeo clown at the Bulls and Broken Arrows Bash in Red Deer, Alberta?
Well, you know I love dressing up. Do I get to dress up?
Yeah, you can do it in blackface if you want. Broken Arrows,
excellent. Can't wait. Will I be in any danger? Because I need to keep Canadians safe.
No, we'll make sure you have a big RCMP detail to keep you safe.
250 officers.
We'll make sure that the bull is in an RCMP uniform, just so you feel extra safe.
Even wear my red tie.
My question. So, my last question I got to ask. If you were allowed to... No, wait, let me rephrase this. If Canada came at you and told you to step down, and we had legal documentation to put you in jail, and we had legal fortitude to do this under law, would you abide by it, or would you run tucktail and take off to Papa Castro's island, or would you run off to Uncle Klaus's little mansion in the Swiss? Or would you allow democracy to run its course?
Democracy is one of the cornerstones of Canada. And by the way, Tofino is just as good as Epstein's Island, so I'm comfortable going there. No need to go to the, the tropics over there. I'd rather stay in our boreal forest, which is threatened lately. And I'll stay in power as long as I can throw together some word salads.
That sounds great. And how is Jugmeat doing? I know he's in the bathroom there, but is he treating you good? And do you have confidence that he's going to stick by you for both the next budgets and to keep you in there?
I remember when I first met Jagmeet, and he kind of grabbed my arm, the way sometimes old people do. But then I noticed I was standing at a urinal, and it seemed a little inappropriate, but that's how it started, and we've been progressing ever since. Last night we had some kind of S&M stuff. It was kind of fun. We put on some, what do you call those dogs, those masks?
I'm pretty sure that was your arm he grabbed in the urinal. I'm pretty sure that it was not your arm.
Justin, let's keep it to pride talk. We can talk about pride topics all day, but don't go to this kind of heterosexual sex talk. We know that's disgusting.
Absolutely. And then, Steve, do you have any last comments for our Grand Supreme Leader here?
When are you coming out as non-binary?
Well, I sort of identify as one spirit, two-face, but lately I've been identifying as a Chinese dictator's cat litter box.
That prompts another question. So Xi Jinping likes to refer to you affectionately as a little potato. As a potato, how would you like to be prepared? Fried, baked, scalloped?
I suppose peeled gradually, layer by layer, until the lights are low and the temperature is just right.
And let's not forget a lot of sour cream.
And an NDA agreement. Don't forget the NDA agreements. These are really important.
We are working on bug cream made from the mammary glands of bugs. And this will substitute for the dairy cows, which are farting up Alberta, who has still stolen resources from the rest of Canada. We're getting tired of Alberta's attitude. And so that's my next step, to work with Klaus.
What is the quickest way we can hand Alberta over to you? Just give you the keys, or are you just going to come take it?
Well, I've already confiscated quite a lot of the farm equipment there, so I don't suppose they'll be able to go anywhere. Shouldn't be too hard to move in with some Chinese friends of mine.
So,
and
Justin,
Alberta,
I would like to formally invite you to come and grab my tractor personally. If you could, please come to my house, pick it up. I'll have the keys ready for you. I just want one picture. And if you would please just smile for the flash. That's all.
and to remind you, Justin, you have to be there before 10 p.m. He has a curfew.
Well, if you could just let us know your location, and we'll be sure to sick our directed energy weapon right on it, and no need for me to travel.
Oh, you know where I live.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. This guy's priceless. This is good. Thank you very much for that. That was good.
Yeah, had a good laugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for fundraising purposes. And a little satire goes a long way. So thank you very much to this gentleman. And you know what, man? Thanks to everybody for everything they're doing. And Steve, thanks for asking those questions. But hey, the rodeo is going to be full of clowns such as himself, and I highly recommend you guys all get out there and come just see it for the day and partake. It's not just bull riding, it's also like there's an entertainment side of this, comedy side of this, there's outriders, there's so much stuff going on, and the clowns I'm gonna guess that Justin's gonna be there because of the event. I have a feeling that the event is going to be, if not a blackface there will be somebody there with a Trudeau mask acting and getting pounded by bulls.
Pounded by bulls. That sounds really good. And now, Justin, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and then let people know how they can find you and follow your stuff? You're amazing, by the way.
I thought they were making fun of me, and I didn't like that. Sometimes I cry, you know. I'm in touch with my feminine side and my cisgender side also. But you can find me at John Julian on YouTube. And Twitter, I think Jason knows where I am.
Yeah, we'll put his link in the description. We'll pin it on. But John, thank you so much. I've been waiting about a month for this. This is amazing. I really appreciate the surprise, and you cracked Pat up, and this is what we needed today. Thank you very much, John.
Very welcome.
Great job, John.
Thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure to be on my full support and sympathies, and I really hope once you get through the lawfare system that you can get back to enjoying life to its fullest.
Yeah, same. We're all in the same fight, so thanks, guys. Good luck with everything.
And John, I'll bring you back, and we'll do an actual interview. We'll have you on for a while. But thank you very much for
and
this
absolutely,
cameo.
I'll satire aside. Thanks for making that comment right there. We are all in this together. This isn't an individual effort. This is a community effort, and that's why this rodeo event that we're holding is based strictly. It's community, rebuilding that community again. It's time we start taking care of one another, because these sons of bitches in Ottawa and our local legislatures are not taking care of us. They do not have our best interests at heart, or if they did, they would be putting a stop to all of this. So thank you, John. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was well worth the wait. Thank you.
That
You
was
like that,
good.
Pat?
If you close your eyes long enough, it was like nails down the chalkboard, man. Like I would, like this guy's good, man.
Yeah, he's very good, and we got to find a Christia to go with him. Oh my gosh, would that blow us up? We would lose my
There's a
mind.
girl on TikTok that has one. She did the whole getting pulled over skit.
Oh,
Man,
cool.
it was good. It was good. Yeah, really good.
You were saying, John?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, I know that woman, and she's a friend of mine, and she lives in town.
Perfect.
Ooh, so you can maybe set this up maybe next week. Maybe we'll have both you here. Okay. That sounds wonderful. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it so much.
Awesome.
Yeah, we went from having music to now adding comedy. I think Saturday Night Live better watch out. Here we go. This is a new
Hey,
variety.
we can get back into SNL or not SNL. What was it back in the day? We had the show that we had Canada's. We had like an SNL. SCTV. That's what it is. Yeah, SCTV. That's awesome. These guys are good, and it's just an amazing plethora of talent that we have in this movement. I've said it already, and I'll keep saying it. When you start inspiring musicians, comedians, artists, you start inspiring poets, you start inspiring people to pull out their artistic talents into this, you've got something, folks.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff that was that our lore, our history was based on. The people, the skits, the songs that have been written, the poetry that's been written. Understandable that bad times bring good music, but also understandable that bad times brings people together as well. And we're very, very well basically used to that here in Canada with the bad times that we have. And look at how tight our communities are getting. Look at how tight our groups are getting, how people are bringing each other into the fold again. And if anything, thank you, Justin. Thank you very much, because you brought Canada back together again. As much as you tried to divide it, you got us back together again, and you got us talking again. So kudos.
I completely agree with that, Pat. Absolutely. It didn't work. He unified us. Look at us right now. We're all having a great laugh, and we're getting on with Canada, and we're freedom fighters. So we're actually fighting for this. Thank you so much. Now, guys, do stick around. I'm about to do the Yukon, the North, and then after that, Lindsay Butler will be back on live. So we'll get a couple more songs out of her. So if you stick around, I'll bring you back on the screen, and we'll all enjoy a little bit of music. But you're welcome to stick around in the backstage. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, John, and thank you, Steve. It was amazing. My cheeks are sore. My cheeks are sore. Thanks, John. I'll talk to you in a bit, Pat, and see you soon. And by the way, this is for fundraising purposes only for Pat King. Fundraising purposes only. Hello, Melissa. How are you? I don't have any audio from you. Yeah. Nope. It's okay. No problem. Yeah. And we'll, we're getting there. She's got a really nice mic too, so this will be great to get going. Nope. But maybe just check your settings and make sure that the mic is selected. There might be a drop down that lets you select more than one microphone. But right now we don't get anything out of that one. That was awesome, guys. Says Pat. Pat, I'm really glad you enjoyed that. That was great. And if we can't get audio soon, nope. What about, do you see the gears at the bottom in settings in the screen? You see that? And then under audio, there may be more than one microphone. Oh, hey, how you doing? Ceases cut her off is what someone's saying. Nope. If you want, you can maybe just go onto your phone, because your phone mic will work as well. That might be. Oh, nope. You coming to the rodeo, Pat? Yeah, let's get everybody to the rodeo. If you want to there, Melissa, go ahead and keep taking a peek and taking a look. And as soon as I hear you, I'll bring you on. Okay, so take another look, or maybe jump onto a phone, because that might be another way to get connected. Okay, you're going to try that? Okay, because we do want to get the news. She might have to sign out and back in. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm reading the chat now. The chat's just blowing up, the private chat. But let me bring Pat back, because this is for fundraising purposes only, and we want to make sure everybody knows that this is fundraising purposes only.
Yeah, I was just suggesting though that sometimes they have the same problem and they have to sign out, sign back in. But when they sign back in, they got to go to their settings because they probably got the wrong default setting, and it just automatically put them on that. So she might have to change the default setting too. So just a little tip for her. Where did you find that guy? Where did you find that
John?
guy? Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, no, I actually asked Beth Ann Nodwell, and I said, "Hey, do you know any comedy? Because we have music on the show now. Do we have any comedy?" And immediately she says, "I know an impersonator." I'm like, "Great!" And we've been trying to get him for about 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so, because he's also working hard, so we had to line things up. But my cheeks are sore. My cheeks are
man.
sore.
I'm like red in the face because I was laughing so hard. Oh, we get her.
Yeah, maybe. Yes,
Hey, there she is.
Okay, we'll bring you back in a bit, Pat.
Okay.
We got Melissa now. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Pat.
He's giving you tech support and everything. This guy's amazing. And look, he's not even allowed to go to Ottawa, but I bet you they said you're not allowed to step 1 foot into Ottawa. If you know Pat, you'll get the joke. But hi, Melissa. Thank you for doing what you could to get your audio worked out. It looked like a good microphone, so it looked like you were trying to set something up there. So maybe we'll try and get that for next week.
Yeah, it was the same one that I used last week. I don't know why it didn't work, but it's all good. I was saying when we just got in that it's amazing to have the Supreme Leader on live, like how that's such an honor to be a part of this stream with him on it. So that's great.
Well, everything's worth it
Having him
now.
on.
Yeah, all the boots to the head, all the throwing in the snow, all of that was worth it now. And Pat having to go to trial, that was all worth it now that we had the Supreme Leader on the show.
Yeah, 100%. I brought George with me today.
Hey, George, nice to see you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. A little tired, but I'm gonna just hang out.
Sounds good. Did you check out the comedy? Did you have some fun there?
I caught it right at the end. I just got home and I was just getting ready to catch up with Melissa, so I just caught the end of it.
Excellent. And if you stick around, you'll actually get to hear Lindsay Butler play live. She got 2 more songs that she'll do for us. So stick around for that. We'll have a bit of a concert going on. All right. Well, Melissa, we kind of have a shortened window now. So we have about 12 minutes left. And then we're going to be cutting over to Lindsay. So how's the news in the Yukon?
Okay. I want to focus on Nunavut first.
Sure. Okay.
And
We'll get the flag up.
So we got to change the flag. Okay.
There you
Awesome. So this is, I want to know what chat's thinking. It's a little bit of a, I don't know, controversial topic, or it gets people a little like upset, or it's a difficult topic because it's on the topic of alcoholism and issues within the Indigenous or Indian or Native, however you want to call them. I don't know what the proper term is anymore. I feel like either way I offend somebody. But they're having an issue in Nunavut where there are these 3 men who aren't able to drive because they've gotten tickets twice for impaired driving within the city, right?
Okay.
But these guys are saying, like, and they've lawyered up, and they're just saying, this is against my rights as an Indigenous person, because I need to be able to drive in order to hunt, because I need to provide food for my family, for my community. It's a part of my culture. So to take away my rights to drive because I drove drunk and got caught twice and put a lot of people in harm's way, it's like basically discrimination, and it's not equal rights. So they're having like this whole thing. That's basically it. I thought, and then they say that it's cruel and unusual punishment, and it negates from their right to equality. And they've also stated in their affidavit that it's a means of rehabilitation for them. So to go out hunting is rehab for them. But clearly, clearly it hasn't worked, because they were hunting before, and then they get in trouble for impaired driving. So this is a big problem in the north. and within those communities in general, like there is a stereotype to that. I don't know, like in BC, I've heard that in the reservations and everything, that's a huge stereotype, and I feel bad for them. They're getting the short end of the stick, right? So this is an issue in Nunavut, and they're like fighting against it, saying like, okay, just let these guys go, like let people off loosely on these charges, like just whatever. In the meantime, in Rankin Inlet, there's about 3,000 people who live there, and they've got 186 signatures on a petition to close down a beer and wine shop that hasn't even been open for longer than 2 years. And they're saying this is causing so many issues in our community. Kids are just running around without any, like they're running around all times of the day while their parents are at home drinking, and it's a real problem for the community. So you have like these two areas in Nunavut that are like conflicting. At least these stories are conflicting. I don't know if they know of each other or what that's all about. So they're trying to like see if they can reduce daily limits for that beer and wine shop. So at the minute it's 4 bottles of wine and 24 cans of beer you can buy daily, but they're trying to half it or at least reduce the hours of the beer and wine shop. So I just thought like it's just so frustrating because it's been an issue for so long in these communities, and like no matter what they try, it just doesn't seem to be a fixable issue. I don't know. So that I thought needed a little bit of focus today for Nunavut.
Well, yeah, you certainly brought up several issues. So alcoholism in general,
Yeah.
and whether or not they're going to restrict or limit or regulate purchasing abilities of people. And by the way, if digital currency was in place, they wouldn't even have to worry about it. They would just hit you at the digital currency level. Maybe they're heading that way. And then the public safety idea that you shouldn't be punished even if you're drinking and driving because you need your vehicle for the purpose of hunting. There's a lot of legal issues there that I have problems with. Are they trying to argue that they should be able to drink and drive while going to hunting? Or are they just simply saying you can't take away my transportation because I need it for hunting, regardless of what I do? So if they drive over people on the sidewalk, what's the argument? Is it only DUIs that should be vitiated or ignored, or should excess speeding, anything else? Like, what is the argument? Just straight up transportation?
Yeah.
It's transportation. It's just I need my right to get into my car and drive my truck to go out and drive and hunt. So knowing our government, knowing the way things go, and
Yeah,
like
I'm
all of
concerned.
these, like, there's a little bit of what is it called? Privilege. If we want to talk about privilege, right? Like they're gonna get that privilege that they can get away with this until something really bad happens.
Hearing you say they lawyered up, I guess they're gonna challenge this. So let's watch it. Let's keep an eye on it and find out how it plays out.
Yeah, it will set a precedent, I think. For
I'm concerned. I wonder how they're going to do that. If you're on the way to, let me see. If you're on the way to hunting, you don't need to be licensed. Is that how they're going to deal with this?
I wonder.
Yeah, I'd be interested to like dig into it and see what their arguments are.
I want to know how it plays out. I want to know what the conclusion is of this.
Yeah. So that's none of it. That's what's going on, to be continued. Let's see.
Okay.
But it got me all like spiced up. So
well, it should, because that's concerning, because driving is a privilege, not a right. It's not a right. Yeah. Being able to travel is a right. Being able to go from province to province, those are rights. Being able to travel is a right. But being able to drive, that's a privilege. And you think that this president may turn that into a right that cannot be taken away, even if they hit the criminal code?
What, I don't know, but they're referencing the Constitution.
Now they want to use it. Oh yeah, good luck with that.
There'll be a lot of gray areas in it, even if they win their challenge. There'll have to be a lot of gray areas, and it just can't be clear.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible because everybody will be on their way to hunting all the time. That's what it's going to end up with.
They're gonna sell out hunting licenses. Hunting is gonna be the greatest sport in Canada, and it's gonna be the most popular sport for everyone. It's gonna outdo hockey.
Wow. Well, good
Hockey
job on this,
player.
Melissa. This is a good topic to bring up. So thank you for bringing this to our attention because this absolutely could become precedent setting and be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's scary. It's really sad, and I just feel bad for these people. Like,
Sure, it'd be great if they had help and didn't have these problems to begin with. That would be wonderful. And I'd also like the idea of not stopping them from hunting. That, of course, I think that's wonderful. But to turn a privilege into a right and to not be able to take away the ability to drive based on the behavior of the person while driving, that scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if that's the proper term, but bejesus is how I feel right now.
Me too.
All right. Anything from Northwest Territories?
Northwest Territories. Local media is blaming Meta because, what is it, like Bill 16 or something, where it's
Bill 18.
the Bill 18. Thank you. I was 2 digits off.
No
Because of the lack of media on Facebook, the evacuation orders were really slow, and it caused a dangerous situation because the news couldn't report it on Facebook, and people use Facebook to get their information. So this is just another,
we saw this one coming.
This is from the Globe and Mail, and they were getting up, blaming Meta for everything. Obviously, Trudeau is not responsible for this, and down with the big tech companies, like, screw them, right? Like, that's their attitude. And in my opinion, I've just seen so many cases, like with the Alberta fires. I knew that there were a lot of farmers who said, I didn't get any information from police or any authority. I got it from Facebook groups. Mm-hmm. The groups are where people get information. It's not the news. And like Meta, when it comes to social media, Meta doesn't care that the news isn't on their platform, because that's not where the money is going for Meta. Like the news is such a small percentage of the amount of content that goes there, right? So they don't care, and people connect through Facebook groups, not looking up what the news is saying. So I think that it's just an insult to residents' capabilities, and like their intelligence and overall, just that the news is so out of touch that they don't realize that they're so unimportant. Not this news, not your show. Your show.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, that's cool. Don't worry, your check's still in the mail. But this is what we would call a straw man argument, because what they're doing is they're blaming Meta for not being able to get emergency information out. But not everybody has Facebook. That's not 100% distribution. Lots of people have it, but that's not our emergency broadcast system. Our emergency broadcast system's on our phones, and they can absolutely send information at any time, all the time, as many times. Believe me, during the wildfires, this thing never stopped buzzing. So I don't even understand how the government's taking that position. I know why they are, because they're trying to force Meta into their reform here. But it's a straw man argument because it's not real. It doesn't make sense. It's not. So if I don't have Facebook account, according to the government, I'm in danger. So we all should now go create a Facebook account, because it's the only way the government thinks that they can get information to us, if they can force C18 on Facebook. It's a straw man argument. It's baloney. People should be fighting back completely, because they still have your cell phones, right? They still send you SMS and alerts that way.
And I think I've been hearing a lot too. I admin a very big BC Businesses Against Health Pass, a very big Facebook group, and people are a little misunderstood as to what's going on. What's happening is the Trudeau government is forcing Meta, Facebook, to pay these news companies for the information that they're posting, or when people share. I don't remember exactly what action, but they're forcing Facebook to pay. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of Facebook. A lot of arguments, a lot of sloppiness on there. Their censorship is just stupid. But when Zuckerberg and Facebook decided they're not going to pay, and they're just not going to be posting, not going to allow this content to be on their platform, I sided with them. I'm on the side with Zuckerberg on this one,
Oh, for sure.
because it's an enforcement, and people share their own content. So I just wanted to be clear on that. So some of the listeners who are listening saying that the Trudeau government is actually not allowing news on there, that's not the case. It's actually they're forcing Facebook to pay for the news that's on their platform, and they said, well, we're just not going to pay, and we're not going to put it on there, and that's why I side with them.
Fair compensation, they say.
Yep. Well, it's working because they're actually shutting down the news, and that they're not just shutting just CBC down; they're shutting all news, so independent as well. Everybody.
The Daily Hive, like Vancouver's Daily Hive, or Calgary too. I think it's crazy.
But I think the independent news is going to actually get a lift from it, because when a lot of people on Facebook are thinking, oh no, I don't see headlines anymore. Then they'll say, I wonder what's going on in the news once a week or once in a while. And they'll go to the Western Standard. They'll go to your website. They'll go to True North. They'll go to Rebel News or something. They'll go to something that they feel they can trust. So it's going to set a precedence, and you're going to start to see a jump in viewership on some websites and a decrease in others, at least the ones that have the headlines on Facebook. There's a lot of mainstream media that was depending on clickbait headlines on Facebook, and that's done.
And on the topic really quick of True North, like just independent media in general got so smart over the years of collecting newsletter signups. So they have direct contact with their audience. They don't rely on some platform that's going to ban them or censor them. They got smart, so they're not going to suffer as hard as CBC.
Good point.
Right. So I talked to Corey Morgan from Western Standard, and he's replicated that exact statement, except for new subscribers. Their new subscribers have crashed because their new subscribers were coming through Facebook and platform. Their current subscribers, you're bang on, because they're already subscribed, so they're in direct contact. But they saw a tremendous drop in new subscribers, and they basically plateaued. So they're now trying to find new ways to get new people to find out about them, because they're not finding them on Facebook and others now. But thank you very much. That was great news, especially that alcohol thing. I really want you to pay attention to that and let us know how that one goes, because that precedence both ways will be important. Either they're not going to be allowed to do it, which will be important, or they will be allowed to do it, which will be a different type of important. So thank you very much for that. I had no idea.
No problem.
Great job. And great job, George, too. Thank you for your input on Facebook. And a lot of people took the same position as you. We actually are supporting Facebook on this one, because the government is trying to force it.
That's how
the enemy of our enemy is our friend, right?
We should talk about it more, because just in general, when we're with people in our audience or wherever, because a lot of people in the freedom movement are misunderstanding it and believing that it's Trudeau that's not allowing the news on Facebook and censoring the news. That's not true. So we should talk about it more to make sure there's clarity, because a lot of people in the freedom movement are misunderstanding and jump to that conclusion.
You mean we don't understand everything? Nah, not the movement. No, you're 100% correct there, George. We got to keep that information out so people have the right information, and then they can also point their fingers at the right spot. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You guys gonna stick around for some more Lindsay?
Yeah.
And we even have some Pat here, so we're going to enjoy ourselves. Let's see who else we got here. That's it. All right. So, Lindsay, you got a small little house here, a little intimate environment, and we are dying to hear some more of your music. I know Pat's a fan because you were at his show, and I know he was watching and he enjoyed it. So, I know we have two more here. Thank you, Lindsay. I think we're muted. Let me. Yeah, you're muted on your side. You're muted.
This wasn't working for you. I was just trying to sign.
Yeah, no, we're doing sign language. That was cool. Diversity, like Justin said, diversity is important.
Okay. I feel like I've been all over the province, at least in the last couple of weeks. Music, especially my freedom songs, everywhere I go. And yeah, I think it was really cool how Pat was mentioning that, in hard times, it's such an outlet, I think, for the creatives to be able to express with, this, or, can you imagine the movies that are going to be made about this? Like, or you know what, let's not even do movies. Let's just go back to live everything, live theater, live shows, live. Wouldn't that be so interesting?
And I'd
Humans
like to see
having
Pat in playing
connections.
live. I'd like to see him play himself live. Pat would be great to watch.
Yeah.
Nobody
I
can
would
replace him.
love
And
Anyways,
again, this is for fundraising purposes only. We're here for fundraising, and this is for fundraising. And it's the only reason we're here, fundraising for Pat. Thank you, Pat.
that's my entire life right now. Always.
Yeah, there we go. We have to take her back. Fundraising purposes only.
Perfect. So I know I spoke about this song on Friday when I was still half asleep. But you might not know, and I don't know if you heard of it, but there was this huge convoy that happened in 2020, like the biggest one actually ever recorded.
Was that the one in BC over potholes? There's like 10 trucks. CBC reported that one.
Yeah, it was like a couple hundred people, like, people not even nice people. And anyways, the largest convoy that's ever been, they were convoying with us across the world. So that was amazing. Flying Canadian flags. Woof. Freedom heart. And anyway, so somebody mentioned that we got our singer-songwriters here to, on rewriting the convoy song. And I didn't really put any thought towards it. I thought, well, maybe if it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. So I went to bed that night. I woke up at about 4 a.m. with these rhymes going through my head to the convoy song. So I thought, okay, I guess I'll be writing one. So here's my version of Freedom Convoy. And I hope you like it. I hope I don't play it too fast so I can get all the words in.
It's almost a rap sometimes. It's great.
It is. Like, who wrote all these words? We got a mighty convoy. We've all got the right to be free. We got a mighty convoy standing up for you and me. Come on, join our convoy, rocking through your town. We're gonna roll this freedom convoy, and no stopping us now. Okay, there we go. We'll be rolling through from town to town to end this psychosis. Turning off the news and burning masks. No more mass psychosis. The undocumented and highly coincidental deaths and adverse reactions with illegal bribes and medical coercion with endless political retraction. Mighty convoy, we've all got the right to be free. We got a mighty convoy standing up for you and me. Come on, join our convoy, rocking through your town. We're gonna roll this freedom convoy, and no stopping us now. Convoy. Mile by mile, we'll take it back and end this corruption. Standing strong together, we'll do our parts and cause a big disruption. We'll pack the highways and cause a scene, big rigs with flags and signs, opening eyes across this land of those who couldn't care a doggone dime. 'Cause this affects every one of us, and we won't be ignored, standing up for our rights and freedoms behind these big boards. We got a mighty convoy, we've all got the right to be free. We got a mighty convoy standing up for you and me. Come on, join our convoy, rocking through your town. We're gonna roll this freedom convoy, and no stopping us now. Convoy. Your rules and mandates will not stand. Did you forget the Nuremberg Code? The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms are up on this payload. With the goalposts never been about health, only greed and control. We're slow rolling to Coots in Ottawa, singing "Let Them Truckers Roll" 10-4.
10-4.
'Cause we got a mighty convoy, we've all got the right to be free. We got a mighty convoy standing up for you and me. Come on, join our convoy, rocking through your town. Gonna roll this freedom convoy, no stopping us now, convoy. We're uniting this country town by town despite political views. From BC to Newfoundland and Labrador, all we ask is the right to choose. We want to see smiling faces where the kids are free to breathe from what this country was made of, from sea to shining sea. 'Cause we got a mighty convoy, we've all got the right to be free. We got a mighty convoy standing up for you and me. Come on, join our convoy, rocking through your town. We're gonna roll this freedom convoy, not stopping us now, convoy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want a convoy all of a sudden. That music, that beat, that rhythm. I can feel the truck moving. Pat, what do you think of that one? I think you're muted there, bud. But
No, that was good, Lindsay. I said this at my event in Edmonton. You got a beautiful voice, and you're talented, really good. And this is another thing. Like, you see this, goosebumps, right? Like, they're just covered because you know that it's pure. You can't take the music away. And I said this while I was in jail as well. When I'm in jail, all I had was my music, and that was it. And I would play my music. And actually, Lindsay, there's one time where they took our TVs away because somebody did something to the guards or whatever. So they took our TVs away. And I'm kind of an aficionado, I guess. I do karaoke. I'm not the greatest, but I like to sing. But I entertained the whole range for about 4 hours, singing out the vent hole in my cell of just like that, Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues, and actually the Convoy song by Paul Brandt. I had the whole range, and they were like, "Thanks, man." And the boys in the jail were saying that it was, it's music. Music inspires people, and actually, music is the one thing that can bring every ethnicity, race, color, creed to the same event at the same time, and all your differences go away. Yep. You're at the concert, you're listening to the music, and you don't care if that person voted liberal or voted conservative. You're just there for the music.
Yep.
And that's the amazing part. So kudos, Lindsay. And you know what? Come on out to the rodeo. We got people there. You want to come play Friday night? Come play Friday night.
She's got a tough schedule because she's helping with the rally as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, like, it's kind of central Alberta-ish, so maybe.
No, that's right. I don't want to steal you away from anybody else. If you're already spoken for, you're spoken for 100%.
Maybe
we'll see what can happen.
Sunday.
Maybe
Sunday. Yeah, you can play Sunday because I know they're coming. I believe they're coming Sunday.
Okay. Perhaps.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, you have each other's numbers, so you can certainly make this work. And I want to try and be down there for Saturday and Sunday as well there, Pat. I'm going to do my best.
Oh, it's going to be a blast, man. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. Thank you. And the chat's loving you, Lindsay. And we have a really big audience right now because Pat has put this on his Facebook page as well.
Oh, thank you.
So
Hello.
we have a large audience tonight. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Pat, for putting it on your Facebook as well.
So I shouldn't suck right.
Yeah, no, Alberta's listening, and I could feel the tapping on the ground here. It's like everybody's tapping away at the same time. It's wonderful.
Actually, you know what, Pat? You know how you say music, it brings everybody together? It absolutely is. And live music has such a healing frequency to it. Not the recorded music, because they changed the hertz for that in like 1910. But I record mine at a different frequency. But live music seriously has a healing frequency where it's like, yeah, changes your cells in a really good way.
Absolutely. And actually the sound guy is doing that intentionally with our stage to bring up that frequency in everybody there. It's not like a brainwash kind of thing. It's like a lot of people think it is. It's a frequency that makes you uplift, beat, gets your heart moving again, gets the blood pumping. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're right. 100%.
not going to be like these weird concerts we're seeing in the States where people don't remember half of it.
No, God, no, no,
They'll just
no.
fall over all of a sudden. You know those ones?
Oh yeah, yeah, I did see those. Those were absolutely crazy. And he even does a satanic ritual. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Plain sight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love Alberta. I love you guys. I do.
I got one word for you already.
Is it the F word?
My favorite word?
The F word.
Yeah, it's that one.
Nice.
If that's okay.
That's great.
All right. This F word is my favorite F word in the whole world. It's called this word is freedom. And when it started to become a bad word in Canada, I knew that was a sad day. And I was extremely grateful to meet so many other F word lovers.
I'm an F word lover.
Anyways, this song is called Freedom. I do have a music video out for it, I think on BitChute only because, anywhere else I might get in trouble. And the lyrics are on there as well. It's on the streaming, you can buy it on iTunes and however that works these days. But check it out. And I'll try to do a bit better on my website of showing you all where I'm at so that we can for sure arrange this, Cross Canada Freedom Tour. Yeah.
I'm down.
We'll make
that
it happen.
Yeah.
All right, this song is called Freedom. For every one of our loved ones sent overseas, friends, fathers, sisters, brothers, so we could live free. Those brave souls laid down their lives, you and me, looking down upon us now. Do you think they believe we're asking freedom? Where are you? Please don't turn your back on us now. Many fought and died for you. I pray to God never lose you. Freedom, freedom, oh freedom. Now this world is spinning crazy. You say you're doing fine. When I look around, I wonder, have they just broke your spine? What are you gonna tell your children? Can you look them in the eye? When they ask you how the storm went down, can you say you held the line? Freedom, where are you? Please don't turn your back on us now. Many fought and died for you. I pray to God we never lose you. Freedom, freedom, oh freedom. I actually sang this song at a rally in Calgary one time. Actually, a lot of times. But when they had a worldwide freedom rally, and it was like the 10,000 people one there. Ooh, that's intense to sing in front of. Mostly I cry sing at rallies, but I got through it. And yeah, if you heard about it on the news, it was like a couple hundred people. But it was awesome. We're gonna rise together. Will you take a stand? Or will you bow down and break to their command? The whole world's watching you. It falls in all our hands. For true home free, our home and native land. Freedom, where are you? Please don't turn your back on us now. Many fought and died for you. I pray to God we never lose you. Freedom, where are you?
such a fan. I'm a fanboy now. I'm such a fan. Oh my. And Canada loves it, loves it, loves it. Hey Pat, is that the sound for the next wave? If there's another push, is that the sound of it right there?
That is the freedom song, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not calling for anything because it's for fundraising purposes only.
No,
Fundraising purposes
just
only.
about
Illegal.
to say that we're not putting forth any plans, Mr. Thesis.
Nope.
We're just hypothetically speaking here.
And we're
But
not
yeah, that would be
because the Freedom family is large.
Very
and
large.
we're waking up our neighbors every day.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you,
that's
Lindsay.
exactly what needs to be done. And wow, Lindsay, like holy crap, that's good. Amazing song. And you're welcome at any of our events at any time. You are no question asked. You show up with the gitter and you're on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're the gem of Alberta, and now we know more about you there, Lindsay. And I'm really excited. Even if we're just hinting at a possibility of a spring tour, that's exciting. I'd absolutely want to get behind that. Maybe it's just a flatbed truck, which is the stage that we take across the country. We're gonna have to put Jeremy's house on it because he's on house arrest, but his house will be on the flatbed, and then we can move him across as well. This is how we get around some of these laws.
I'll MC the event for you too. I'll take the stage and MC it for you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world in all ages.
That sounds great. Look what we're doing here in Canada. We're coming together. Thanks a lot, JT, for bringing us all together like this. I got a lot of new friends. We all got new friends. And wow, great episode, Lindsay. I kept seeing the comments about your singing and your music. You'll definitely be back if you'll have us. That'll be wonderful.
Pleasure to be on the screen with all of you great people that are bringing awareness to so many things that are so deeply concerning to me as an auntie and as a Canadian, just as I think, a general good human being. So thank you all for speaking up, standing up, and raising.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Melissa and George up in the up north. Thank you for sticking around. And what did you think of that music?
No, chef's kiss. We were just like admiring your voice and your lyrics, and it was just they're awesome songs, so catchy. The Convoy one was really catchy. I loved it. I was like getting into the lyrics and able to sing along as it was going. So yeah, awesome job. Thank you so much.
It was great, and thank you for being here again, Melissa and George. And then say hi to Dan. We didn't hear from him, but say hi to Dan.
We will. I know we missed Dan this week. I'll let him know.
No
he has
problem.
to come. Okay.
Send him the link so he can hear the music too.
Yes, I will for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. And Pat, thanks for sticking around for so long. I said 20 minutes, but somehow we stuck around a lot longer than that. So thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah,
that was great.
that was good. And thank you everybody for what you guys are doing on your end up north there in the Arctic. I worked up in Norman Wells for 2 years. I've been as far as Cameron Hills on the border of the territories between Alberta and Northwest Territories, and then all the way up in the Beaufort Sea. So I understand what Melissa and them are going with up there. With what's happening with the group. I understand we were checked and screened every time we came in off the planes to make sure that we weren't bringing any outside influence into the communities. And I did see what it's doing to the communities up there and my plight. I feel for you guys, what you're dealing with up there. Just try and remember you're not driving, you're traveling, and you have a right to travel in Canada, and exercise that right 100%. But hats off to what you guys are doing. It's nice to see that the communities in the north are getting their proper attention, because I know that is an underrated issue up there or not underrated, but it's not brought to the forefront enough, and it needs to be. So thank you to Lindsay. Beautiful voice, young lady. You're very talented, and I'm honored. And to Jay, man, great, man. You did good tonight. Thank you so much for giving me that laugh I needed. And to everybody out there in social media land, for everybody's support. We just had another ticket come in while we were here. So thank you very much for those people. That's a pay it forward ticket. So we'll be donating that one forward to somebody else too. So the community is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger every day. And I love every one of you guys. And thank you so much for everybody's help and support, and much appreciated.
And thank you for what you did for us, Pat. We're not going to forget you. Thank you for what you did, Pat. We love you. We really do.
Thanks.
It's true, buddy. It's really true. Thank you for what you've done, doing, and will do for us. We love you, Pat.
We're
Don't
not
forget
done.
that.
We're down, but we're not out. We're down, folks,
No.
but we're not out by no means.
Nope. We got down to one knee, but we're right back up. Lindsay's got that beat going. Melissa and George has got the information from the north. Coast to coast, Pat. You just watched it. We're coming together. We love you, brother.
It's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk soon.
Thanks.
Okay, brother?
All right.
Yeah. Bye. Well, there you go, Canada. We had music, we had laughter, we had cries, we had news, we had shocks, we had awes. Oh, Canada, I love you. You come together each week. You blow my mind each time. I don't know how these are going to work out when I do them, but I just do them. And thank you, Canada, for giving us the talent, the people, the love, even the patience to get this all done. Gosh, I love you, Canada. You're absolutely worth fighting for 100% along the way. And Pat, you're our Alberta brother, and Lindsay, our Alberta sister. And we're just going to share you with the entire country. Canada, I love you. You make sure you come back. We got a lot of visitors from Pat's channel. Go ahead and subscribe to mine as well. You'll find me as The Levine Show live on Facebook. So if you haven't found us yet, go ahead and do that. You'll be catching these shows every week. And for the Pat's audience who doesn't know, every morning I'm on live. So I start at 6 a.m. Mountain, 8 a.m. Eastern. And we are talking political prisoners, and we cover that subject. And Pat is one of the ones we talk about. We also cover the 4 men here in Alberta, the Coots men. So Chris, Jerry, Chris, and Tony, we cover their stories as often as we can, all morning, 2 hours. And then for the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we do interviews with many Canadians. Tomorrow, it's going to be Dan Hartman, so the father of Sean Hartman, who's got a lawsuit. He's fighting really, really hard to hold people accountable for the death of his son, the murder of his son. Let's call it what it was. He was murdered. He was murdered by his own government just to play hockey. So tune in tomorrow to hear Dan Hartman's heartbreaking story, but it's got an inspirational journey to it and a possible amazing victory. So we'll be talking about the legal. We got clearance from the legal on that tomorrow. Keep in mind, today was a fundraiser for Pat, fundraising only for Pat's legal. That's a really important message that we have to keep saying because it's true. We're actually helping him with his fundraising for the legal. And Pat, we're there for you, brother, 100%. And thank you. Thank you, Pat. That's from Canada. All right, to the rest of you, have yourself a wonderful evening. I love you all, and God bless.